in overtime. Kansas City wins the game.
Carrington Harrison,
back-to-back best sports talk hosts as voted on in the Pitch magazine.
live from the Van Studios. Here's CDOT.
Let's do this. Another day, another dollar, another edition of The Drive. You were listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington Harrison. Excited, thrilled, delighted to be here with you on this wonderful, wonderful Tuesday. Rob, it is my understanding that this is the last week that our show is going to be preempted by the Royals. Am I correct in that thought process? We're off at 5:30 today. The Royals have a day game on Thursday, and then that is it. It's going to be me, you, every single week, 20 hours, and we're going to be doing that for a very, very long time. That is my understanding. Is that also your understanding?
Outside of Monday night or Thursday night Chiefs games, that is correct.
Okay, so I am excited. No disrespect to the Royals. I'm happy to have our full 5 o'clock hours back. I really appreciate those. I've come to really love those over the years. Hopefully you guys are excited about that as well. We got a lot to get into in today's show. We have some numbers on Chris Jones that I think are going to be pretty alarming. We got some numbers on Patrick Mahomes that are also going to be a little bit alarming. We are trying to change way too many things all at one time. I got a lot of thoughts about a lot of different things. Before we get to any of those things, I need you guys to do me a couple of favors. Number one, I need you listening to The Drive each day at 2 o'clock right here on 96.5 The Fan. I need you to also tell one friend to listen to the show this week. You know what? Why don't you tell 2 friends? Because Patrick Mahomes turns 30 tomorrow. So you're just talking like, oh, hey, did you know that it was Patrick Mahomes' birthday on Wednesday? And also, you should listen to The Drive. If you can do both of those things, I would appreciate it. I also want you to remember maybe the most important thing of all is that you should stop by the other place with 5 area locations around the city. Go stop in, get yourself some great food, get some great beer specials. A couple of them have a nice patio. You can still enjoy the warmth, the fall as it is rapidly approaching, and also watch a little bit of football. So if you can remember all of those things, I would greatly appreciate it as we kick off the show. Now, I'm going to tell you guys that there are certain aspects of this job that you guys maybe don't always see. Sometimes you guys think that I just randomly stroll to work at 1:30, that there's not any work behind all of this. And I get it. You know what? That's fine. I don't need any credit for that, but I'm here in the morning every day looking up stats and calling people and trying to make sure that we put on the best show. But you know what? That's my job. I'm not asking for any credit for that. But there's other things that go into this job, like mental preparation. Yes, you guys don't know this. You think that all this job is talking. No, sometimes it's mental preparation. The text line, sometimes they're really mean to me. They call me names all the time. And I told you guys, I only block you if you spam the text line, if you are racist or homophobic. Anything else, hey, get your sports takes off. I get my sports takes off. You're allowed to get your sports takes. So I had to get mentally prepared for the Open today because I have to give credit to the Los Angeles Chargers. I know that you guys are going to call me Charger Dot or Bronco Dot. It's hard to keep up with all the different things that you call me. But we have to at least admit this as we begin this conversation. The feelings that people had about the division so far have been true. This is not me telling you that the Chiefs can't win the division. It's the first 2 games of the season. Yes, I'm not pressing the panic button. They can still win this division. But we talked a lot about the competitiveness of the AFC West, how deep and how balanced we thought the AFC West, and that this was one of the tougher divisions that the Chiefs have been in since Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid have come together. Has that not been proven to be true? That the division has had a massive overhaul if we are talking about coach and quarterback, and the other teams are far more viable. The Chargers look to be a pretty good team. We'll get back to them coming up in a bit after their win on Monday Night Football. The Broncos, I know they lost on Sunday. It doesn't make any sense to me how they lost that game. One of the silliest penalties that we have seen that took a W off the board and turned it to an L. Now, no one's going to feel sorry for the Broncos. It was a self-inflicted injury, but they would have went on the road and beat the Indianapolis Colts, and they'd be sitting here at 2-0 right now. The Raiders are sitting at 1-0 1-1 after a win on the road against the New England Patriots. There are no gimmies anymore in this division. One of the reasons that the Chiefs have been able to dominate this division the way that they have is they've been able to go around the board and gobble up wins in the division. They've beaten up on the Chargers and the Broncos and the Raiders over the last 9 years. I don't know if you're going to be able to do that in the exact same way, certainly not the way that you are playing. If you are sitting here on September 16th and you are not at least a little bit worried about the Chargers, you are lying to yourself. That's not to say the Chiefs can't get them, but right now we're talking about a Chargers team that's currently 2-0, a Chargers team that beat the Kansas City Chiefs, a Chargers team that if they win in week 3, they will have 3 straight wins against the other teams in the division. The Chargers are good. The Chiefs could be better, but we have to at least acknowledge that the Chargers could be a good team. We have been wondering the question in the AFC of who could that fourth team be? That you got Kansas City, you got Buffalo, you got Baltimore. They have run the division for the last 2.5 years or so. They have been the kings of the conference, and the Chiefs have been able to run laps around those other teams. Well, maybe, possibly, perhaps, the Chargers have emerged as that fourth team because this is the team that looks really complete on offense, a team that looks to have a pretty capable defense, a quarterback that is playing his best brand of football. It's early in the regular season. We'll see what the injury situation looks like with Khalil Mack, but that is a good football team. So I don't even have the text line up. I'm getting mentally prepared for, I already know what the text line is going to say. Shut up, Charger Dot. We knew you were going to say this. Okay. I get it. I'm just telling you that the conversations that people had about the division, it looks like they were right. This is going to be a really tough and competitive division. This is by far and away the best version of the AFC West since Patrick Mahomes has taken over as a starting quarterback in the league. There is no run-over team. There's no gimme wins. You're going to have to fight and claw and compete. And for the first time in the division, the Chiefs look like they have their back up against the wall. They're 0-2. The Chargers are 2-0. The Chargers have the head-to-head advantage against them. And the Chargers, if they beat the Broncos, they will be 3-0 with the win against the other 3 teams in the division. That seems like something noteworthy that the Chiefs have just not had to overcome in this stretch since they have been the best team in the AFC West and for the most part the best team in the AFC for basically the last 8 years or so. Now, the next part of this is, and this is where you should feel a sense of optimism. Some of you like to gamble on these games. I like to gamble on these games. I'm telling you right now, this is the absolute cheapest that you will ever be able to buy the Kansas City Chiefs. If they win on Sunday, and let's say the Chargers do Charger things, I'm not naive to think that there is not a couple of Chargers losses that are lurking in the bushes. They have been that way for my entire life, your entire life. Let's not eliminate the possibility that the Chargers just do some Charger things. You lose Khalil Mack to injury. You lose this guy to injury. Quentin Johnston right now is playing like a man on fire who has finally figured it out 3 years into his career. What if he doesn't continue to figure it out? So I'm not going to remove the possibility of the Chargers being the Chargers. If you have ever wanted to bet on the Kansas City Chiefs, now's the time to do it. You can get them right now at plus 250 to win the division. If you're someone who is not worried in any capacity about the Chiefs, still feel like they're going to win this division, feel like people are overreacting to it, now is the time for you to cash in because Vegas is selling the Chiefs for as cheap as they've sold them in 7 years. You've never been able to buy the Chiefs this cheap at this much of a discount because of their start. All this organization needs to do is just simply weather the storm, and it sounds like a Royals thing that we've said, but if you can tread water until Rashee Rice gets back, until Xavier Worthy gets back, you clean up some of the issues with the run game, we could easily go back to talking about this team like they're the best team in the AFC. But right now, they are going through a bumpy road. I quoted this last week. I'll quote it again. I just finished the Cowboys documentary on Netflix, and Michael Irvin said that the road to a championship is rarely smooth. It is incredibly bumpy, and there's going to be peaks and valleys, and everybody can go through the peak. It's fun when the Chiefs are just running circles around everybody, and the Chiefs win every game on a close last-second field goal, and we don't have to discuss the warts on the team. It's great. But right now, the Chiefs are going through a valley. They have lost their last 3 games. If you go back to the Super Bowl, the Chiefs offense hasn't really played incredibly well, really at any point so far this season. And the Chiefs have a must-win game in week 3. I don't want to hear any disagreement. They have a must-win game. The Chiefs cannot afford to lose on Sunday to the New York Giants. They cannot afford it. It's one thing to lose to the Eagles. It's one thing to lose to a Chargers team. You start losing to the Giants, like a 5-win football team, we will be having some very serious conversations on Monday and next week about what has gone wrong with the Kansas City Chiefs. And at some point, you do what the Bengals have done, and you create yourself too much of a deficit where you got to really, really work and play nearly perfect down the stretch to overcome the tremendous deficit that you have put yourself in. And I don't care how good, how talented you are, at some point, you just mess things up too bad that you can't get out from under it. We're not at that point. Win on Sunday. You got a home game against Baltimore that you can be 2-2 to end September, and you feel like you've got yourself out of the fire. You get Rashee Rice back in October. The pathway to them getting themselves out of it is very, very clear. But you got to start taking care of your own business. You got to start winning the games that matter. And Sunday Night Football against a team that you are clearly superior than, that is where it starts. I don't care about style points anymore with this team. I don't care about them covering the spread. You just got to take care of your own business, and you got to get a W in the win column by any means necessary. Coming up on the other side, we'll talk about some changes to the experience and going to Arrowhead. I'll explain. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison, a show that prides itself on getting it right.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5, The Fan.
Hi, I'm John Ray, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. Getting engaged? So friends, listen up. Shane Company engagement rings are protected with our all-inclusive free lifetime warranty. We stand behind the same quality we've offered since 1929. Our rings are crafted to last. It's why our warranty is the only one that protects your center stone. We also cover repairs, resizings, cleanings, and so much more. That's money you keep for you and your family. Because a friend always has your back. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Hey folks, I've got a couple of important questions for you. Do you know how much money you need to retire? Do you have a plan in place for your loved ones? If your answer is no, it's time to get your financial planning on track with UMB Private Wealth. It's never too late to start. Plus, their team supports you at every step of the planning process. Go to umb.com/privatewealth to schedule your appointment. That's umb.com/privatewealth. Why not start today?
You could be on the 50 at GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Enter to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA is the proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Announcing Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event. Up to 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models for 72 months. And we have the largest selection of Subaru certified vehicles in Kansas City, starting as low as 1.9% for 72 months.
0% event and a lifetime warranty. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
Based on January 2025 through June 2025 Kansas City inventory listings.
Hi, I'm Sam Silvio with M. Shamas Brazilian Grill in the village of Burlington Creek. Holidays will be here before you know it, and M. Shamas is ready to get a jingle from you. From our all-you-can-eat hot and cold gourmet salad bar to our 12 cuts of beef, lamb, pork, or chicken. Go to mshamas.com to order our famous Brazilian glazed holiday hams in advance, or set a holiday party date for a table of 1 to a party of 100. Go to mshamas.com and discover the joy of dining.
It's time to build that dream deck over at All Weather Decks. Schedule a free estimate today at 913-206-1974 or online at allweatherdecks.net. All Weather Decks, the right deck at the right price.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind: to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my 2 sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-814-1500. That's 800-814-1500. 800-814-1500.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here. Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you could hear Old Spice Fiji Antiperspirant, what would it sound like? First, you'd start with Fiji Antiperspirant's amazing scent of palm trees. Add pure notes of fresh coconut and layer on 24/7 odor and sweat protection. You won't hear any dyes or parabens because with Fiji, you won't have any. So while your regular antiperspirant sounds like this, Old Spice Fiji sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
I'm Jordan Robinson, host of the new podcast, The Women's Hoop Show. Each episode, I'll be joined by a rotating group of women's basketball experts to talk WNBA, college hoops, the new Unrivaled League, and the shifting landscape of the sport. The game is growing, and so are we. Listen to and follow The Women's Hoop Show and Odyssey podcast, available now for free on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Hey, it's Juju Smith-Schuster from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
I want to read a text to you guys really quickly. The text line is responding how I knew they would respond. I'm not picking the Chargers to win the division. I'm simply pointing out that the Chargers have looked very good so far. And if we were asking the question back in August of, well, outside of Kansas City, Baltimore, and Buffalo, who looks like they could be a viable contender in the AFC, at least through the first 2 weeks of the season, the answer appears to be the Los Angeles Chargers. They're in the Chiefs division. If they win next week, they will go to 3-0 with a win against all the other teams in the division. Just seems noteworthy to me. I'm not picking them. I've not officially switched my position. I think the Chiefs still have a pathway to get themselves out of this early mix. I told you guys right now on FanDuel, you can get the Chiefs to win the division at plus 250. If you still think they're going to win the AFC West, now's the time to go bet on them. You will never get the Chiefs at these odds to win the division. They were minus 140 before the season started. This is the best value you ever get on the Chiefs to win their 10th straight AFC West championship. So I'm trying to help you guys out. Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Someone on the text line sent this. Carrington, I wish you could be more positive about the Chiefs. And I still live and die on the fact that when you put negative words out for a team long enough, that you will ultimately jinx them. So you guys are saying that you think the years and years of me hating on Kansas, it finally worked for the basketball team. Because that's what this text would lead me to believe, Rob. that if you say negative things long enough about a team, ultimately it will jinx them. I mean, I tried for a long, hard stretch of my life in trying to ruin Kansas basketball through my words. You're telling me that last year it finally happened. You're saying I need to keep it going, that I need to keep poking fun at KU, keep poking fun at Bill Self, keep poking fun at Curtis Townsend and the bag man. And if I keep doing that long enough, that I can continue to get them down this path where they're not even going to be ranked preseason top 10. That's unheard of where I come from. KU's always ranked 8th or 2nd to start the season. I think they're going to be ranked outside the preseason top 15. You're saying that after 37 years, it's finally working, that my words are starting to have an effect. That's what this texter would lead me to believe.
If that text was correct and your words had an effect, I would like to believe you would use your power to help your own team, not hurt another team. You would have your team not be a 6 seed in the NCAA tournament. That's my belief. Also, I imagine if you had this sort of power, you would have Darren Peterson somewhere else in college basketball this upcoming season.
I would have had him at Mizzou.
He wouldn't have been in Lawrence.
I would have had him at Mizzou.
I know he wouldn't be in Lawrence, that's for sure. He wouldn't have him there.
That's what I would have done. That's what I would have done. I would have, you know what? I would just use my power for different. If you guys at any point disagree with what I've said about the Chiefs, the phone lines are open. 913-586-7965. You can call, you can text. You know my Twitter handle. I'm not ducking from my Chiefs opinions. If you disagree with anything I say, hit me up. We can talk about it. I love to talk to you about it. That's my favorite thing to do. Let's chat. Can we move on to the Chiefs? I want to give you a Chiefs opinion. Now, admittedly, and I tell you guys this, I've not been to a Chiefs game in a long time. I don't really like going to NFL games. I just like to watch the games at home. It is a more enjoyable experience for me to watch the games at home than to go. But I remember what the old third down call used to sound like at Arrowhead. Well, there's been some changes. There's been some controversy. The old fella that used to do it, Dale Carter. No, not that Dale Carter. Another Dale Carter. He has been removed, quit. I don't know all the drama. He no longer is doing it. They have replaced that person with a new person that says third down, and this is what it sounds like.
From the 19-yard line, it's
Okay. All right. I don't know who this man is, and I don't mean any disrespect to him. I really don't. I'm sure that he is a fine individual. I'm sure he's a great person that does really good community work. Can we get the old guy back to do third down? There's other things that he can do. There's other calls that he can make. He wants to scream touchdown. He wants to do the announcements to thank so-and-so from the military for being here. He wants to introduce the person that does the national anthem. He's more than fine. I'm sure he's great. That's not the third down call I hear in my head when it's 3rd and 10 and the Chiefs need to get off the field. It's too many changes at Arrowhead. Too many changes. When the Chiefs used to score a touchdown, they would play a very specific song. Now, I get it. That person had some personal issues, and they wanted to distance themselves from that man and that song. I got it. Are they still playing Puff Daddy songs at the stadium? Because last time I was going, they were still playing that Girl Take It Low, that Shake Your Tail Feather song. They were still playing that last time I was at the stadium. Rob, are they still playing Puff Daddy at the stadium? Why didn't they remove Puff Daddy songs? Can we get the old third down guy back? What do we need to do to get him back? It's not too late, right? They still got 7 more home games this season, 8 more home games this year. They got Christmas Day. Can we get him back? This isn't the third down call that they need to have. Can we please make an adjustment and get the old third down guy back at Arrowhead Stadium, please? I would really appreciate that if they get him back.
Based on the statement put out by the original third down guy, it seems like, based on his statement alone, the Chiefs wanted to adjust his third down call. He said no mas, resigned, and this is what the Chiefs wanted. I think the Chiefs wanted the yardage in the third down call. Because that's my problem with this call. I don't mind you yelling it's third down or it's third, holding it that long. It's the end where he goes, and 15. No, I don't care about the yardage. Just yell third down. Like, if the fans can't see the ribbon board and the jumbotron and, do the math, if he just gets rid of the yardage, it's not that bad. But based on
it ain't got the same bass and tone in your voice.
I agree.
But
I think the yardage.
Third down. You get fired up like, yeah, it is third down. You get up, you're beating your seat. That doesn't make me, it's 3rd and 15. Come on now. That's not the guy.
Just cut the yardage. I think it's still worse. But why do we have to we're going to do this long third down draw for 3rd and 3? Just say it's third down.
Maybe that's what they wanted him to do. I don't know. I don't know all the backstory. The text line is telling me that they fired the old guy because they wanted a new third down call. I don't know. The third down call, it just seems very important to me. It seems like it's part of the fun of going to the games. It's part of the production. It's part of the atmosphere, the vibe. I just want him to go back to the old one. That's it. I want him to go back. Are they still doing the chop at the games?
That's my presumption. I mean, they're banging the drum before games. That's my presumption.
I got you.
They might not call it the chop, though. They might call it something different.
Okay, I'm just asking. Text line is telling me they're still playing Puff Daddy songs. So, I mean, if they're still playing Puff Daddy songs, they can't bring back the "we're going to beat the hell out of you." I mean, seems to me like we should ban all of them. I just wanted to go back to the old way. I would just like them to do it. I don't know who we need to talk to about that.
Playing Puff Daddy in 2025 is wild.
I'm telling you what, that's what the text line told me. Text line told me they're playing Mo Money, Mo Problems. That's what the text line told me.
Can you imagine during a TV timeout, you hear "I'm coming home" from P. Diddy? Like, what are we doing? Well, what's happening?
Okay, well, I'm just telling you what the text line has told me. Please bring back the old third down guy. Again, I don't know who the new guy is. I'm sure that he's great. I want him to stop. Someone on the text line said, "Shake Your Tail Feathers," Nelly and the St. Lunatics. Puff Daddy's not on the song. I would check again. I would just go on there and just listen again. Just check it again. Just go back. I think you're misremembering the song is what I would tell you.
I mean, Nelly's on there, but it's not
singularly
Nelly.
No, Nelly and Puff Daddy, both of them simultaneously are on the song at the same time.
Murphy Lee on that one too?
He is the last verse. Yeah, he is the last verse of the song. Let me give you a stat that I think you guys would be very interested in. Did you know that right now, Patrick Mahomes leads quarterbacks in rushing yards? Now, I told myself that today I am not going to talk about the running backs. I don't have any Isaiah Pacheco today. We don't have any Kareem Hunt in the show. I'm not going to tell you that they shouldn't have picked up Elijah Mitchell. I'm not going to do any of that today. You know how I feel about this. I've been telling you guys this for weeks. I was telling you this for months, what I would have done at running back. I don't have that today. That's not anywhere in the show. But you will find this very interesting. These are the top 5 rushing leaders for quarterbacks right now in the NFL. Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels are tied. They have 85 rushing yards. Josh Allen has 89 rushing yards. Justin Fields has 97 rushing yards. Patrick Mahomes has 123 rushing yards so far through the first 2 games of the season. There's not another quarterback in the NFL that has over 100 rushing yards. This seems very self-explanatory, but I feel like I need to say it anyway. This is not sustainable long-term for the Kansas City Chiefs offense. This is not sustainable long-term for Patrick Mahomes. As he is turning 30 years old, the goal is not to make him a more active runner and to put him potentially in more danger. Now, Pat does a really good job of getting out of bounds, sliding. Yes. But the more rush attempts that you take, the more possibility of you getting tackled or you getting hit or you taking more damage. That's just the nature of the position. You can't get down or get bounds every single time that you do it. And this number should come as a little bit of an alarming sign is they don't call run plays for him. It's not like Josh Allen where they dial up Josh Allen's number. Josh Allen running is a part of their offense. Justin Fields running has to be a part of the Jets offense. If not, why are you here? Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, this is what they do. This ain't who Patrick Mahomes is in their offense. So I don't have anything about the running backs. This is not an Isaiah Pacheco bash session or Kareem Hunt. A problem with their offense right now is that a player that they don't design run plays for is now by far and away their best option to run the football. Balance. That's what can get this offense back on track. Balance. And also not forcing 15 to do everything. Everything. He's got to be your leading rusher. He's got to make every deep ball pass. It's a lot of things that you're asking your quarterback to do. And I get it. He's the best quarterback in the league. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. That's not what Buffalo is asking their quarterback to do. They're not asking him to be the sole run game option for them. That's why they just gave James Cook all of that money. It's not what Philadelphia is asking their quarterback to do. That's not what Green Bay is asking their quarterback to do. Whatever team you think, that's not the responsibility that they're asking their quarterback. Their quarterback running is a part of the run game. Right now in Kansas City, the Chiefs quarterback running is their run game. That's a problem. That's something, Rob, that needs to be fixed as the season progresses.
I mean, it is. Now, a part of me is like, hey, it's sample size, 2 weeks. This will not be the case in weeks 5, 6, 7, 8. But woof. Just woof. Patrick Mahomes is an elusive player. He can make guys miss. We've seen it in AFC title games. We've seen it in Super Bowls. I believe even on the broadcast on Sunday, Brady said that in one of his meetings with Mahomes that he mentioned that he likes to pull out the running in big games and the playoffs because, you're trying to get every yard. So I'm not saying that he's a statue back there. He's not Phillip Rivers. He can move around. But there is absolutely no reason that he should be leading all quarterbacks in rushing. None. That's a sign of a major problem. A major problem, mind you, the Chiefs have clearly tried to correct throughout the season because since it's not designed runs, as the stats have laid out, this would mean it's broken plays where he has to go make a play. And broken plays tend to come from broken offensive line play. And with the most expensive center, the most expensive right guard, the highest cap hit right tackle, and a first-round left tackle, and a second-round left guard, you'd think maybe Patrick Mahomes wouldn't have 123 rush yards through 2 weeks. We were talking before in the office about the show. Speck was joking that he's beating some of running backs statistically. Bucky Irving, there are others that he is out-rushing. That is not a winning formula for the Chiefs. That's a winning formula for the Ravens. I even think despite how good James Cook is, if Josh Allen led the Bills in rushing, the Bills will still be a good team. The Chiefs cannot be a good team if their best running option is Patrick Mahomes. That's a losing formula. That doesn't scream of a Super Bowl team. That screams of an 11-6, 10-7, we barely make the playoffs type of team.
I mean, I can give you some of the stats if you are curious. Right now, Christian McCaffrey has 124 rushing yards, and Patrick Mahomes has 123 rushing yards. Patrick Mahomes has more yards than Jahmyr Gibbs has this season. Jahmyr Gibbs has 113. He has more rushing yards than Bucky Irving, you alluded to. Bucky Irving has 108 rushing yards. Nick Chubb has 103 rushing yards. Like, we can go down the line. Jordan Mason, like Chase Brown. Like, you tell me the running back, Devon A-Chain, he has more rushing yards than him. Patrick Mahomes should not be, running the ball as often as he has been running the ball, and, I mean, almost single-handedly carrying your run game. To what you just alluded to, that's not a part of what makes the Chiefs offense so good and so explosive, and that is not their formula of fixing things. The Chiefs offense usually gets into trouble when it's Pat, go be great offense. When they run the Bel Air Academy offense, like on Fresh Prince in Bel Air, where Will Smith is taking all the shots, that's not really when Kansas City's offense has been at its most explosive. Their offense has really been good when you can mix in the run game, use the pop pass, use the jet sweep, utilize the screen game. Mahomes is distributing, getting the ball out of his hands quick, getting into a lot of different options. That's when you've seen the Chiefs offense be the most dynamic. This form is the worst kind of offense that you've seen from them. Pat feels like he has to do everything. Someone on the text line sent in, Pat acts like he can't trust a single player on the field right now. I don't know what player on the offense he should trust right now. They don't run the football effectively. They don't have a great wide receiver room. The wide receivers that they do have are injured and banged up. I don't really know who Pat should be able to turn to, who he can rely on in those situations. So somewhat I understand some of the philosophy, and I think we've seen it on a couple of their best drives offensively. Pat has just had the mindset of, all right, I was going to do it myself. Have you ever been watching somebody else work on something and you get kind of frustrated? Like, man, move. Let me do it. I'll do it. You don't want your quarterback doing that as many times as Pat has had to do that so far in the early portion of the season. We'll get back to the Chiefs here coming up in just a bit. I do want to talk a little bit of college football. Rob has been itching to talk a little college football. Hit it, Rob.
No matter what side of the state line, KC loves its college teams. The Drive gives you an update on the Wildcats, Tigers, and Jayhawks.
I don't think he made it. He did not. K-State stops Kid Ray Miller at the 1. It is. Yes. Oh, a walk-off winner for 61. Harrison Mevis.
The local kid from Lawrence scores first. It's time for the Cover 3.
You know what, Rob? I'm going to be a good teammate, and I'm going to let you get the first shot here. Because you've been itching to talk about K-State. You wanted to lead the show with it yesterday. I'm like, Rob, that's not a good programming decision. I trust your judgment. You're my producer, so you know I got your back. Thinking that at 2 o'clock we should have led with lack of development from Avery Johnson was one of the more puzzling decisions that you have suggested on the show. So I'm going to move out of the way, and I'm going to give you the time to get things going. Go ahead.
All right, we'll start with K-State because they stink. They're real bad. And they are historical bad. K-State hasn't been 1-3 since 1989. Let that sink in. We had not hit the 90s yet, and K-State has not been 1-3 since then. And it's more than just, I can get jokes off. I can make fun of K-State for being 1-3. I can make fun of them for actually probably should be 0-4 because they had to pull one out of the fire against North Dakota. We can talk about all those things. But in reality, the major problem the Cats have is for some reason, their quarterback, who was an elite runner at Mays High School and was billed as one of the top dual threat quarterbacks in the recruiting window that he was brought in as, and was a guy that can run and pass, and he's going to be El Roberson, he's going to be Michael Bishop, he's going to be back to what makes K-State great, and he is, I don't know if he's scared to run, I don't know if they've coached it out of him, I don't know what the deal is, but he does not run the football, he is not a very accurate passer, and right now, they don't have any receivers that can catch the ball. It is bad in Manhattan right now. You got to ask yourself, is that a bowl team? That's a legitimate question. Is K-State a bowl team? Because I don't know I see 5 more wins on the schedule. I don't.
Why do you have so much glee in your heart when discussing this topic? Why are you so excited about this? You're telling me that one of the local teams is struggling, and instead of trying to uplift them, why are you dancing on the grave of Kansas State? This show supports Kansas State athletics. Let's talk about Avery Johnson. You're right about the lack of development in the passing game. You know I'm big on completion percentage. He has not improved completion percentage in the 3 years that he has been at K-State. He last year completed 58% of his passes. He's at 60 right now. That's not an improvement. I know the number's up. That's not an improvement. A jump is going from 58 to 65% in college football. Not that, especially when you talk about the opponents that they have played so far this season. So he has not become a more accurate passer of the football. You're also right about the running. I mean, so far this season, Avery Johnson has 25 carries for 62 yards. If K-State's offense is going to turn this thing around, you got to let him go. You got to change the philosophy of your offense, and your offense has to be centered around Avery. Go be special. We got to get you in the open field. We got to use your athleticism. You got to make a guy miss. This is not how K-State turns their offense around. Avery Johnson threw for 88 yards. I'm serious. He threw for 88 yards and ran for -16. I mean, you're not going on the road and beating anybody. Not a Power 4 school. You're not going on the road if your starting quarterback accounts for 60 total yards from scrimmage. You're not beating anybody. I'm sorry. What are we doing here? So, step one, you just got to let Avery use his athleticism, get him in motion, and got to let him go. And that's clearly not what has happened so far. And just as a passer, part of me is just kind of, this is what you got with him as a passer. I mean, we're heading into, this is year 3 of his career. Avery Johnson's made enough starts. He's been there long enough. I mean, he's made 25 starts in his college, or he's played in 25 games in his college football career. He's still a 60% completion guy. That's just not good enough at quarterback. And you're right. If you look at their schedule, and we haven't really gotten to the meat of it, they got a real serious uphill battle if you're the Kansas State Wildcats. We got Derek Young from K-State coming on the show at 3:30. We'll get back to the Wildcats coming up in just a bit. Coming up on the other side, we'll talk about the Monday Night Football controversy. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with CDOT. Tune in as Nate Taylor of ESPN joins the show in studio every Friday at 4 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. The Drive, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
The wait is finally over. Football season is here, and FanDuel is getting you ready for kickoff with an offer that you don't want to miss. New customers, you can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, any bet. Bet $5, and if it wins, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use all across the app. Use it how you want. Build your favorite parlays, bet player props, ride the live lines, whatever your style is. Remember, FanDuel has you covered. Be sure to check out FanDuel.com/KFNZ. Use that promo code to download the FanDuel app today and get started. FanDuel is an official sportsbook partner of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Can help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
It's football season, and I can't wait for the games. And now I have even more reason to cheer on the Chiefs. I just head to Hy-Vee the day after any game and score savings at the pump with my Hy-Vee Perks card. Win or lose, I earn a fuel saver discount equal to the Chiefs score based on the amount I spend. If the Chiefs score 35 points, I save 35 cents per gallon when I spend $35 on groceries. The more we score, the more I save only at Hy-Vee. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
It's game day, and nothing says Chiefs football like the aroma of a tailgate grill. Kick off your pregame party with a Kingdom Meat Bundle from Hy-Vee. Get 4 boneless chicken breasts, 4 pork chops, 4 bratwurst, and 4 chuck patties for just $30. Plus, get a 10-cent per gallon fuel saver. Toss in some chips and dip, side dishes, and Chiefs-themed baked goods. Score the extra point with your favorite tailgate beverage from Hy-Vee Wine and Spirit. Just one stop for all your game day needs, only at Hy-Vee.
Kids are back in school, so schedule your home improvement project today with Powell Exteriors KC. They offer easy financing, pay no interest until 2027, and a 10-year workmanship warranty. Learn more at PowellExteriorsKC.com. The power of KC is Powell Exteriors KC.
Look, I say a lot of dumb stuff. I try to keep it in front of large groups. Seems to go better that way.
Nate Bargatze, Big Dumb Eyes World Tour. T-Mobile Center, Friday and Saturday, September 19th and 20th. Tickets available at TMobileCenter.com. $100,000 is up for grabs only at Harrah's Kansas City. With 3 ways to win, you could score major prizes. 1. Each day through October 4th, earn to swipe your Caesars Rewards card at a BattleBucks kiosk to instantly win up to $100,000 cash. 2. Collect targets and sink a ship worth up to $1,000 free play. 3. Join us October 4th for drawings with a grand prize of $50,000 cash at Harrah's Kansas City. Visit our website for full details. 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Tulsa is my home now. Academy Award nominee Sylvester Stallone stars in the Paramount Plus original series, Tulsa King. This distillery is a very interesting business, and we gotta know the enemy. From Taylor Sheridan, co-creator of Landman. What are you saying? I'm a rat! If you think you're gonna take me out, it's gonna be really difficult. Tulsa King, new season streaming September 21st, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
This afternoon, expect a mix of sun and slight showers with a high of 90.
Weather brought to you by Robert Half. Our recruiters' expertise and award-winning AI will find you the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today.
This is 96.5 The Fan, your home for Chiefs football.
Welcome back into the show. My name is Carrington Harrison. Very happy to be here with you on this wonderful Tuesday. Coming up at the top of the hour, we got some numbers about Chris Jones. I haven't heard too many people talk about it from this perspective. We will try to be the first to do that coming up in just a bit. We're also going to be joined by Derek Young, who covers the Kansas State Wildcats. He's going to be on the show in the 3 o'clock hour. So we got a lot of college football in today's show as well, in addition to the National Football League. Let's talk about this Tom Brady thing for just a little bit. Tom Brady is being allowed to operate in a space that no other person in the NFL is able to operate. Tom Brady is a minority owner of an NFL team. Nothing wrong with that. But you also are a broadcaster, so your job is to be objective. It's hard to do that when you financially profit from one of the teams in the National Football League. But it goes more than that. If you are an announcer, you are able to have conversations with current staff. You go on the sideline before the game. You can go there. You can talk. You go to production meetings. You usually get an off-the-record conversation with the head coach, with the offensive coordinator. You can ask them questions so you can have more information, more detail for your broadcast. He's a minority owner for the team. And then you're watching Monday Night Football, and now he's on a headset for an NFL team. He can communicate with the head coach. So you're telling me he can sit and have an off-the-record conversation with Andy Reid, and then the next day he can go and help the Las Vegas Raiders? Come on now. We're only allowing this because he's Tom Brady. I don't have any issues with Tom Brady being a minority owner. I don't have any issues with Tom Brady being a broadcaster for Fox. It seems like a serious conflict of interest for you to be able to allow to do both. This gives them an advantage. Now, maybe the Raiders aren't good enough to take advantage of the advantage, but this is undoubtedly an advantage. You get to talk to assistant coaches. You get to talk to potential free agents. You get to talk to current staff. And then you can take that information and then run it back to your team. He should not be able to do both. But he's Tom Brady, so he will. I'm sure that this is a controversy that'll just go away. Maybe the average fan doesn't care about this, but you guys have to see, for a league that tells us how important player safety is, we then see that that's not always true. For a league that tells us about how important the integrity of the game is, this seems like it damages the integrity of a game. One team is allowed to have an employee with access that the other employees in the league don't get, especially for a league that harbors information like government secrets. It's wrong. Tom Brady should not be allowed to do this. We've known this for a while. It was even more telling that he is in the coach's booth a day after calling a Chiefs game. He is now in the booth for a divisional opponent. He should not be able to do this. That's number one. Another thing that shouldn't be able to have happen, and this is a story that just isn't really going to be talked a lot about, and I get it. The NFL is going on. College football, they're playing the games. People aren't paying attention to this story, but I want to talk about this story. Diego Pavia, he is currently the quarterback at Vanderbilt, So for those of you that don't know, Diego Pavia played a couple of years of JUCO football. He sued the NCAA saying that JUCO ball is not governed by the NCAA. Therefore, it should not count towards his eligibility. He should be allowed to play. Well, he found a judge that ruled in his favor. He was allowed to play. That's how he is currently the starting quarterback at Vanderbilt. So he has now played 6 years of college football. He played 2 years in JUCO. He has played 4 years at Division I. This is his 4th season. Well, there's something else. He is now currently suing the NCAA, saying that your redshirt year should not count towards your eligibility, that he redshirted one of those years, he didn't play, and that the NCAA is now, again, trying to affect his livelihood, take money out of his pocket. They shouldn't be able to do that because he didn't play. He is now filing for a 7th year. I love college football. It might honestly be my favorite sport. I am currently making a documentary about college football. I love it. This is wrong. There has to be rules. There has to be an expiration date on how long you can play college football. There has to be. I blame the NCAA for this. We had so much time to be proactive when it came to a lot of these rules that the NCAA basically waited until other people started making the rules for them, and now they're playing catch up. You shouldn't be able to play 7 years of college football. What are we doing here? You played in a JUCO. You've played at a JUCO. You've now played at multiple Division I schools. You've been able to make good money from playing college football, as you should. I'm not trying to take money out of anybody's pocket, but bro, how many years do you want to play college football? There's a league after this. Go try to play there. Go to Canada or something. Please do anything else. Rob, it sounds like I'm hating on Diego Pavia, and I'm not. I really like Vanderbilt's story. Vanderbilt has been an inspirational story, how they've been able to turn things around. Diego Pavia is one of the more fun college football players. What are we doing here? Now you can sue the NCAA that your redshirt year shouldn't count against your eligibility to try to get another year on the back half. This will be his 7th year of being a starting quarterback in college football. We got to put our foot down at some point, bro. You got to go get a real job. You got to go do something else. Go sell real estate like everybody else. Go do insurance. Anything. What's the point of this degree at this point? You should be a doctor.
I don't want to also come off as hating on Diego Pavia because I was listening to one of my college football podcasts, CBS one with Tom Fornelli, and they said Vanderbilt might be a dark horse to make it to Atlanta this year. Like, do you know how great of a story that would be in college football if Vanderbilt is in the SEC title game? That would be so fun for the sport. But Diego Pavia, you won a 7th year. Stop it. Stop it. You don't want to be a 35-year-old man in college. You don't. Go to the NFL. Go to Canada. Is NFL Europe coming back? Go there. Go to the USFL. Go to the XFL, whatever it's called now. Be a hero in Nashville. Be a Commodore legend forever. You have that already solidified, but stop suing the NCAA and do something incredible on the field and be remembered forever. Don't be remembered as the guy who played college football for 17 seasons. No one likes that guy.
I'm telling you right now that we just need more rules. We need more structure. We just need more.
Not
all
more.
Of these
we need
things.
any. We need any rules from the NCAA. Right now, it is a free-for-all. Total free-for-all.
I can't argue that. I just want some guidance. I want some structure. I want something when it comes to the way that college football is currently being operated. Coming up at the top of the hour, I got some numbers on Chris Jones. They are not good. I'll tell you what it is. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
$100,000 is up for grabs only at Harrah's Kansas City. With 3 ways to win, you could score major prizes. 1. Each day through October 4th, earn to swipe your Caesars Rewards card at a BattleBucks kiosk to instantly win up to $100,000 cash. 2. Collect targets and sink a ship worth up to $1,000 free play. 3. Join us October 4th for drawings with a grand prize of $50,000 cash at Harrah's Kansas City. Visit our website for full details. 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Romance is in the air. But if you're dealing with erectile dysfunction, all that excitement, it can feel like pressure and like you're missing out on something. Well, look, you're not alone. And more importantly, there's help that's out there, especially with my friends over at Heartland Men's Health. They specialize in ED treatments that work even when the pills and the herbals don't, with a success rate of over 90%. Some guys even last an hour or more. Summer should feel unforgettable, romantic, confident, not stressful. If your sex life is just good enough, then why should you settle? Your first visit is just $99, including a full medical consult, testosterone, and a PSA test, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if it doesn't work right there in the office, then your visit is on the house. Visit the website, heartlandmenshealth.com. With offices in Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City, you can get back in action as soon as tomorrow. Don't let ED steal your summer away. Reclaim it, and you can do that with Heartland Men's Health.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Announcing Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event. Up to 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models for 72 months. And we have the largest selection of Subaru certified vehicles in Kansas City, starting as low as 1.9% for 72 months.
0% event and a lifetime warranty. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
Based on January 2025 through June 2025 Kansas City inventory listings.
Hi, I'm Sam Silvio with M. Shamus Brazilian Grill in the village of Burlington Creek. Holidays will be here before you know it, and M. Shamus is ready to get a jingle from you. From our all-you-can-eat hot and cold gourmet salad bar to our 12 cuts of beef, lamb, pork, or chicken. Go to mshamus.com to order our famous Brazilian glazed holiday hams in advance, or set a holiday party date for a table of 1 to a party of 100. Go to mshamus.com and discover the joy of dining.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
KC Companies, get back this holiday season. Adopt a kettle with the Salvation Army. Get your team out ringing bells for a great cause. Adopt a block of shifts or full days. Go to registertoring.com and make a difference. That's registertoring.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you could hear Old Spice Fiji Antiperspirant, what would it sound like? First, you'd start with Fiji Antiperspirant's amazing scent of palm trees. Add pure notes of fresh coconut and layer on 24/7 odor and sweat protection. You won't hear any dyes or parabens because with Fiji, you won't have any. So while your regular antiperspirant sounds like this, Old Spice Fiji sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
The technicians you can trust with your house keys. Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
Getting the job done right the first time protects your home, time, and budget. This summer, get $500 off a water softener and filtration combo. Schedule at anthonyphce.com.
Hey, September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, which is the second common form of cancer among men. There are many risk factors, like age, race, and family history, but there are lifestyle and prevention tips to help minimize your risk of prostate cancer. Eat a balanced diet, rich in fruits, vegetables, and lean proteins. Stay active with regular exercise. Maintain a healthy weight. Limit high-fat and processed foods. Don't smoke. Guys, encourage men in your life to talk to their doctor about prostate health. Zero's Run Walk is coming to Kansas City. Help raise funds and awareness for prostate cancer. Early detection saves lives. Don't wait. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
Wildcat fans, this is Wyatt Thompson. Tune in all season long to the play-by-play of the 2025 football season, right here on your home for K-State Athletics, 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
I don't think that we have had this conversation yet about Chris Jones, but it feels like it is worth asking. The Chiefs are paying Chris Jones a lot of money. They paid Chris Jones a third contract. Now, you don't have any problems giving him that second contract. He certainly was worthy of that, but that third contract is where things get a little bit tricky. And you know the old saying that you want to pay a player for what he is going to do, not what he has done. And usually you want to be maybe a little bit too early to the party as opposed to being too late to the party. Well, the Chiefs, they got Chris Jones on the roster for at least this year and next year. There is no really moving on from his deal. If they got rid of him, and obviously they're not getting rid of him, but he would have a dead cap of $71 million, and next year it's $48 million. So Chris Jones is on the team for the next 2 years. So if you're wondering, let's not even entertain that possibility. That ain't what we're talking about. But I only bring these numbers up because yesterday we were looking at how much the Chiefs have had to blitz over the first couple of games of the season. The Chiefs right now lead the NFL in 0 blitzes. So I'm talking about no safety. We are sending the house. We are sending the dogs. That is more than the Bills, Packers, Saints, Eagles, Niners, Texans, Falcons, Lions, Rams, Chargers, Bengals, and Panthers combined. They have done this 14 times. They blitzed Jalen Hurts on over 60% of his drop back passes on Sunday. He dropped back 25 times. They sent a blitz on 16 of those. To me, the Chiefs are trying to overcompensate because they don't think they can get pressure with their front four. Well, you spent a lot of money on your front four. Chris Jones, one of the highest paid defensive players in the league. You just gave George Karlaftis a big deal. If there's any team that feels like they should get pressure with their front four, it's the Chiefs. Over the last 17 games for Chris Jones, he has 5 sacks. If you look at 2023, so this was the year that he held out for the first game. He got the new contract. He got 10.5 sacks. In 2022, Chris Jones was 28 years old. Chris Jones got 15.5 sacks in 17 games. I'm just simply here looking at the numbers, and I know that it's more than just sack numbers. It's pressure. It's quarterback hits. It's hurries. It's all of those things. In 3 years, we have seen Chris Jones go from 15.5 sacks in 22, 10.5 sacks in 23, 5 sacks in 2024. You are cutting your numbers by 50% in each of the last 3 years. Now, I'm not telling you he's going to get 2.5 sacks and repeat that trend, but this defense was at its absolute best, and it worked when Chris Jones was a double-digit sack guy, when he was an absolute menace at getting to the quarterback, and he was one of the best at it, especially from that position. That's not traditionally a position in which where you get great pass rush. So if you're getting 9, 10.5 sacks, a 15.5 sack season, that's you being the best defensive tackle in the league. That's you being a first ballot Canton guy. That's just not where you get that kind of production. He had 5 sacks last year. So far this season, he has 1 hit on the quarterback. one of the flaws right now in the defense and why they're trying to overcompensate is there is not winning matchups up front. And a big reason on why they're not winning matchups up front is Chris Jones isn't getting home anymore nearly at the pace in which he was back in 22 and 23. So for a player who you are committed to for the next 18 months, you've got the rest of this year and you got all of next year for a player who's 31 years old and will be 32 years old for all of next season. Man, part of what could help this defense, part of what could help those young corners, that young secondary, is Chris Jones and George Karlaftis. They got to be dogs. That's what you're paying for. You're paying Chris Jones the amount of money that you're paying him, and you gave him $98 million guaranteed, partly for he can help you get after the quarterback. You gave George Karlaftis this because you felt like George Karlaftis could turn into Max Crosby and he could be one of those pass rushers. So if you're using the case that now teams double team Chris Jones, all right, cool. Then that means you got one-on-one opportunities for either Charles Omenihu or George Karlaftis on the other side, and they should be eaten up front. That is not what I'm seeing currently from this defensive line.
I will be the first to admit, when he was sitting in the front row during the Lions game and all the stuff, I was first team All-American, sign Chris Jones. Get him on the field, sign him to the mega deal in the offseason. Chris Jones is an integral part of what makes the Chiefs defense good. He's the best pass rusher. He's a pass rusher from the inside. I hear all the time about how former quarterbacks say they don't like pressure in their face. That's more problematic than a guy off the edge. I was all about signing Chris Jones the contract, and I still think the contract the Chiefs signed him to was the right call. But the fact of the matter is, since signing the deal, he has not been good enough. Now, I'm not asking to do this. You're probably not asking to do this. I think the Chiefs are asking to get back to that 21.5 sack season. That'd be great if he was doing that again. If he was a 17 sack guy again, we'd all be very happy. We'd probably have a parade in town in February if that happened. But no one's expecting a 30-plus-year-old to have 21 sacks in the NFL at defensive tackle. But it's got to be more than 5. He cannot be a similar sack guy to insert fine defensive tackle. Not elite defensive tackle, but fine. He's got to be a difference maker. And I understand that if you're the offensive coordinator for the Eagles, the Chargers, the first thing you do on the whiteboard is you circle 95. How do we block him up? I get it's not an easy task, but you're getting paid a lot of money. And I think you helped get George Karlaftis paid a lot of money because you gobble up double teams. One of the two of you needs to get some pressure on the quarterback because since pen hit paper, it has not lived up to the hype. I still think he can get there because the talent's there, but the production has not been.
I mean, I think one of the things right now about the team is, the stars of the team are starting to get a little bit older. As of now, and I'm removing Patrick Mahomes from this conversation, their best player and most reliable player on offense is 35 years old. Their best player on defense, or their most important player, you would say, is Chris Jones, and he is 31 years old. This is a league that's kind of full of 20-somethings. This is a league in which the best defensive players, if we go through the list, they're all currently under 30 years old. That's where you get your Watt, your Parsons. Those guys are all under 30 years old. Obviously, the same thing on the offensive side. This is a team where if you want to point to where the injuries have potentially hurt them the most, this is an offense right now that should be centered around a 22-year-old in Rashee Rice. It should be centered around a young guy in Xavier Worthy. But right now, because of the injuries, because of how banged up you are, you got to go back to the Travis Kelce well, and now he's got to be your number one pass-catching option, when I think most people would agree at this stage in his career, he's just not supposed to be your number one option. Your number one option should not be, we believe, entering the final season of their NFL career. On the defensive side, they're really relying on Chris Jones to kind of be that guy and to get to the other team's quarterback. 5 sacks from last season, that's not enough. It's not enough. Not from who you think is your best defensive player. Not from a guy who 2 seasons ago had 15.5 sacks. So one thing that could help out these young corners is you just got to get to you just got to consistently win with your front four. And if you get to that point, it would drastically change things on the backside. Now, you do wonder if this is a chicken or the egg argument. Is it being harder for the defensive side or the D-line because you got those young corners and now teams are taking advantage of those corners, or is it the vice versa? It doesn't matter. I made this point yesterday. You got to look at where the Chiefs have decided to spend their resources. So those are the guys that I'm going to, and I'm holding them the most responsible. They obviously hold their quarterback to a very high standard. He's the highest paid player in the National Football League. That goes without saying. They have put a bulk of their resources on the line of scrimmage. They have put a bulk of their resources in center, right guard, and right tackle. They spent draft acquisitions on left tackle. They spent it on a DN who is currently injured. They have spent it on a defensive tackle right now in Chris Jones. They've spent it on George Karlaftis. They haven't spent it at running back. They haven't spent that money at wide receiver. They haven't spent it on corner. They haven't spent it on safety. That is where they have stored up their resources. So if you're asking me, who am I looking to get them out of the hole? I'm looking at where they have a majority of their salary cap locked up in. And it's on the right side of that offensive line, and you just being able to win the point of attack, and it's the same thing on the defensive front. You just saw a team that can do it on both sides of the ball. That's exactly what Philadelphia is. Philadelphia can beat you with their offensive line by being the best offensive line. They also can beat you on the other side of the ball with their defensive line and just getting after your team's quarterback, stopping the run, and having a very disruptive player in the middle in Jalen Carter. That's exactly what the Chiefs need to be on both the offensive line of scrimmage and the defensive line of scrimmage. Coming up in about 20 minutes, Derek Young is going to join us on the show. He covers the Kansas State Wildcats. They are off to a slow start. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Tune in Mondays at 4 to hear the play-by-play voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holtis, on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
From Kansas City to the capital city, Washburn University is close. Sure, it's close to home, but it's also a close community where you get close to other students and professors, to incredible opportunities, from study abroad to internships and jobs, and where it's always easy to get close to the action. Get one step closer to your dreams. There's no place like Washburn. It's not even close. Learn more at washburn.edu/KC.
For nearly 100 years, Busey Wealth Management has helped families and businesses make smart financial decisions that stand the test of time. From personalized investment plans to tax strategies that work for you, we take a big picture approach, connecting you with the right experts to help protect what you've built and plan for what's next. Busey Wealth Management, here for every chapter of your financial story.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here with the Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. Please gamble responsibly. Coming up week 3, Pro Football Sunday, Minnesota, 3.5-point home favorite against Cincinnati, total 41.5. Both starting quarterbacks are out for this game with injury, so both backups will play, and I like the over in this game once it hits 41. Cincy's backup quarterback threw for over 300 yards against Minnesota's defensive coordinator a couple years ago, and Minnesota's backup quarterback can perform well against a bad Cincy defense, and Minnesota's head coach a quarterback whisperer. So once this number hits 41, let's go over 41 with Cincy and Minnesota. That's it for this Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app today, and please gamble responsibly.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Whether you're looking for a Bronco, an Explorer, an F-150, or even a commercial vehicle, Robside Ford has the selection.
That's right, Kevin. We've got it all. And we've got the lowest prices in Kansas City. No gimmicks, just great deals on every new Ford.
And it's not just inventory, it's how you do business. Robside Ford makes it very simple.
We do it different on purpose. Non-commissioned sales team, upfront transparent pricing, top dollar trade-in values, and a process that's actually easy.
You've even got the reputation to back it up, Bobby. Kansas City's only top-rated Ford dealer on Google. 4.8 stars, 3,000 reviews. Wow.
And this year, we're proud to be voted Best Car Dealership in KC by Kansas City Magazine.
So if you're ready for a better car buying experience,
come see us at 135th and State Line, or check us out at robsight.com.
From Broncos to F-150s to work trucks, Robside Ford has what you need.
If you want simple and easy, you're not going to find a better spot.
Robside Ford. Buy right. Drive happy.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Chiefs. Everyone develops cataracts naturally as they get older. When your vision is affected by cataracts, you should see my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein at Silverstein Eye Centers. Dr. Silverstein is a world-renowned cataract surgeon who performs life-changing laser-assisted cataract surgery with premium lens implants to correct your vision up close and far away. Trust my eye doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein, Silverstein Eye Centers, 816-358-3600 to schedule an appointment.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
Another app for inventory, one for CRM. Oh, don't forget accounting. Wait, which login was that?
Or you could use Odoo, one fully integrated system that does it all without the hassle. Ditch the app overload. Get everything your business needs on one platform. Try Odoo free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Good afternoon. A two-car crash down south, 69 northbound at 135th. The right lane is blocked. A stall in Independence, 435 southbound on the ramp to Truman from the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, Electric Traffic Center in Val, 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, we got Derek Young about to join the show coming up in, I don't know, about 10 minutes or so. We got James Palmer. He's going to join the show in the 4 o'clock hour. We got a lot going on. We didn't play this yesterday. Now feels like a great time to play it. Here is Nick Wright, friend of the show, and here he is listing off his concerns for the Kansas City Chiefs.
I think right now, for reasons I don't totally understand, they have the least effective running game in the league. Just like if you remove, and the numbers totally back that up if you remove Patrick running.
Yeah.
So like they have been, and I hate seeing Patrick run the ball in September. Never seen it, don't want to see it. Part of what I think has made him, part of what makes him so special is that he always has, one of the reasons, let me put it like this, he gets so much better in the playoffs, even though he's been so good in regular seasons, is he's had this thing in his back pocket all year that he saves for the playoffs. He is now activating it because what he is seeing is we're not having any success moving the ball otherwise. So, that's a short list, and I could go deeper.
I mean, you definitely could go deeper, at least when talking about some of the concerns for the Chiefs. I told you guys today I'm not going to talk about the running back room. At this point, I think you guys know my feelings on the running back room. You know my position on the running back room. We can't go back in time. We can't go back to March and now say, ooh, we know how this is going to go. How can we fix it? I would just like to say one thing. If Elijah Mitchell can't be active on this Kansas City Chiefs team and he can't help this run game in any capacity, why is he on the roster? If you're telling me that running backs are dime a dozen and you could just find a running back, go outside, they got a running back tree. That's how people treat running back. It's interchangeable. It doesn't matter. You could just find one. I mean, Kareem Hunt was sitting at home playing Call of Duty this time last year. You found him. You picked him up. He led your team in rushing. If Elijah Mitchell doesn't have a role on this team with this running back room, why is he here? Why is he on the roster? What is his role? What is his objective? That's my question. What is his purpose on this team if he can't help them right now when they desperately need something in the run game? At this point, I don't care who it comes from. It could come from Elijah Mitchell. It could come from Bashard Smith. It could come from Bingback Steele. I don't care who it is. Their run game is not good enough. You need something. I agree with Nick. Asking Patrick Mahomes to carry your run game is not the formula for the Chiefs. That might be the formula for the Ravens. That might be the formula for the Bills. That's not how Kansas City wins games. So I agree. You know I agree. I do think that's one of their biggest problems. They have the worst run game currently in the National Football League. And having the worst run game in the National Football League, in addition to having a banged-up wide receiver room, creates very little margin for error on offense, and that's what you currently see with the team. So I would love to ask that question to Brett Veach. What is Elijah Mitchell's role on this team? What is his role on this team? He's your break in case of emergency back? This feels like an emergency to me. This feels like an emergency. They don't have an effective run game. That's it. That's all I got today on running backs. I just wanted to play that for you. I just wanted to get you guys' thoughts and opinions on what Nick Wright had to say. 913-586-7965. That was Nick Wright's list of concerns with the Chiefs. Rob, I have been fascinated by that audio clip at the end of the game. So as the Eagles are kneeing out the clock, Chris Jones is visibly upset. He is yelling at the Eagles. I don't know if he's yelling directly at Jalen Hurts. I don't know if he's yelling at the center. Maybe he's just yelling in general. He don't seem very happy. He is yelling, "You don't even have 100 yards." Jalen Hurts looks at him and says, "Shut up, we're winning." And that's the end of the conversation, because I don't know what real comeback you have for scoreboard. Like, you can't really say anything else other than silence at that point. I do think that our NFL conversations are very funny in this way. Justin Herbert has put up a lot of numbers and stats and yards with no real accomplishments. He's never won MVP, never won his division, hasn't won a playoff game. He hasn't won any of those things. That's not good enough. Even though he has been one of the best regular season quarterbacks, been very productive, that's not good, and we all mock him. And I say we because I have joined in on that when it comes to Justin Herbert. I'm still not a believer in Justin Herbert, and I won't believe until it starts to get cold outside. But then with Hurts, it feels like it's the exact opposite. I would say that Jalen Hurts does all the things that you want your quarterback to do. Doesn't make it about him, makes good plays, seems to be a really good leader. When his number is called upon and he is asked to make plays, he comes up and makes those plays. I mean, it's kind of hard to win the amount of games that the Eagles have won and be as dominant as the Eagles have been and not be good at quarterback. They've won 18 of their last 19 games. Some of that has to be because of who plays quarterback for their team. I refuse to believe otherwise. But then it's like Hurts isn't good enough because even though he has accomplished all of those things that Justin Herbert hasn't accomplished, he hasn't put up the numbers that Justin Herbert. So we don't like Herbert because he doesn't win anything, but we don't like Hurts because Hurts doesn't put up the numbers. I don't know. It just feels like a very weird mental gymnastics game that we have played. That I guess what really intrigues me most about that clip is it was like watching a Twitter argument in real life. That's what it was. It was person in the mention screaming, "Jalen Hurts, you are not good enough." And then it was Eagles fan, Eagles side saying, "Why are you worried about that? We won the game." It was watching First Take play itself out in real life between two great NFL players. That's what's so intriguing to me about that argument.
I am probably part of the problem here as much as anyone. So I will raise my hand and say I'm probably at fault for this. But I think NFL media, myself, and NFL fans have created a very narrow, keyhole type of prism we view you through. You have to, A, win football games, which in and of itself as a quarterback is 2, but you have to win because of you, and you have to do it without any help, but you have to get a little help, but not too much. It's a very narrow thing, and Jalen Hurts doesn't check all those boxes. He should, by the way. We shouldn't view quarterback through this very narrow lens. We should have a more wide shot of how the position works. But Jalen Hurts, people will argue the Eagles are winning in spite of him, which means that clearly he can't be good. They would then argue, and I have made these arguments, he is winning because of the talent around him. So clearly it can't be just you. We have now made it, and maybe it's social media, and again, raise my hand, I'm part of the problem. It seems like the only way we evaluate quarterback is, can you win, and are you doing it by yourself? And if you have any help, or we feel like the team is winning in spite of you, even a little bit, we then crush you. Imagine what we do in the way we look at quarterback right now to Tom Brady in 2001. A backup quarterback, got benched at Michigan. We wouldn't view it as this great story. We'd say, well, it's all Belichick. It's smoke and mirrors, fraud, fraud, fraud. That's how we judge quarterback now. And I think Jalen Hurts is the personification of that. He has too much help, and they win in spite of him is the sense. So we can't credit him for the winning, despite the fact the winning 100% exists, and it's at a very high level since he became the quarterback.
It seems to me in all of this that we've kind of created, and I mean like we as in everybody, like not just specifically any mark, everybody has created this. It feels to me like we've created a box for quarterbacks that only Patrick Mahomes can fit into. It kind of reminds me, have you ever seen like social media bits where it's like a woman is looking to date a man, but she only wants a man who's 6 foot or taller. He's got to make a certain amount of money. He's got to work at this place. He can't have kids. He's got to have all these things. We're like, well, wait, that's like 1% of the population. So you just don't want to be with anybody? That's kind of what I feel like we've done at quarterback. So you got to be a guy who puts up MVP numbers in the regular season. You got to be a clutch quarterback. You got to be the face of, you have to check all of these boxes. Well, the only person that checks that box in the NFL is Patrick Mahomes. He's the only quarterback that puts up great regular season numbers and has a tremendous postseason resume. Because if that's the standard that we're going to judge quarterbacks by, I can poke a hole in every other quarterback in the National Football League, and a pretty big hole in every quarterback in the league. Lamar Jackson has been amazing. He's won multiple MVPs. He should have won MVP last year. His postseason resume leaves something to be desired. Joe Burrow, phenomenal. His team hasn't made the postseason the last 2 years. He just got hurt. He is going to miss a full season, basically, of playing in the National Football League. Josh Allen, his team has had the ball the last 2 seasons, and he had a chance to advance. He didn't advance, even though he's been probably the best regular season quarterback the last couple of years. I'm not saying that winning in the postseason is important. You can't put up good regular season numbers. All of those things matter. I do feel like, at least in our evaluation of quarterback, we have to leave room for, growth and development, because that's naturally going to happen. I also think that sometimes, and I saw Albert Breer tweet this, we make very sweeping generalizations. And I do this too with Justin Herbert. So I'm not removing myself from this too. It's just, it's really, really hard to do it. And you don't break through until you break through. This is exactly how we felt about Matt Ryan in his career. You remember, Matt Ryan went to an NFC championship game. I think went to 2 NFC championship games. We kind of looked at the Falcons and thought, well, the Falcons will never get over the hump. And one year, the Falcons just put it together. Matt Ryan won MVP. The Falcons went to the Super Bowl. They had a chance to win the Super Bowl, and that was the best year of Matt Ryan's career. Same thing kind of happened with Cam Newton. Now, part of this is we got to allow Jalen Hurts to have his Matt Ryan year, his Cam Newton year. Maybe that season was last year. We got to allow Justin Herbert to have his Cam Newton, Matt Ryan year. Maybe that's this season. We'll obviously see how things develop and how things continue to progress. But that clip, that little bit where, in the middle of a loss, the Chiefs lost. And Chris Jones is arguing with the other team starting quarterback about the numbers he put up. And then the other team is like, wait, we beat you guys. And that's kind of the end of it. Maybe Jalen Hurts started, maybe he didn't. I don't know. But just that little soundbite right there has just been stuck in my head since the game. It was just watching Facebook comments in real time. Let's head to the phone lines right now to be joined by Derek Young. He covers K-State for On3 Sports. I bet on the Wildcats to win, the Manhattan Wildcats, and they have cost me a lot of money so far this season. Derek, maybe I'm the problem. I bet on K-State in week 1 against Iowa State. I bet on them last week against Arizona. Now I'm poor.
Yeah, I think I'm the problem too. I think the national media is the problem too, because I took Kansas State to win the Big 12. The national media took K-State to win the Big 12. The Big 12 coaches took K-State to win the Big 12. The Big 12 media took K-State to win the Big 12. We are not alone. So you know what that tells me is we are not the problem. K-State is the problem.
No, that's fair. So, Derek, let's just start with this. You've been to all of these games. You cover the team. What's gone wrong with K-State? What would you say is their biggest problem right now?
Their biggest problem is really the intangibles, and I know that's probably kind of cliche to say for a team that's 1-3 or a team that underachieve, but it's really the case. This is a team that's not disciplined enough. It looks like it's not coached well enough. They're not tough enough. They're not physical enough. And I've left seemingly every game, probably every game, thinking that they didn't care enough. Because if you don't get a wake-up call when you should lose to North Dakota, that's on you. Like, where is your pride? Like, almost losing to North Dakota should be the wake-up call. Instead, they lost to Army the next week. And you would think that's the wake-up call. You would think that would be the hit to the ego. Instead, they're lucky to even compete with Arizona. And I might be off. I don't know how everyone else feels or thinks about that game that has watched, because I've kind of insulated myself a little bit, to be quite honest. But I think a good team is K-State down like 28 or 31 to nothing at halftime. I'll be completely honest. They would have been run off the field by any team with a pulse. They scored 17 points. One of them was a touchdown run by Jace Brown that should have been called back because there was a blatant holding call missed. They scored another touchdown because Arizona dropped the punt, and K-State got the ball to start off in the red zone, and another one was a field goal because Arizona muffed the punt. And the only reason they stopped Arizona is because Arizona chose not to run the ball every play. They could have ran the ball every play and probably scored 40 points.
That's the thing that's really stood out to me in the early portion of this season is I'm just not used to a K-State team that, A, doesn't look over-prepared heading into a game. I also can't think of too many K-State defenses that I've seen get pushed around like this one has so far.
Yeah, and to be honest, I'll say that I think that's why I think this is the biggest pushback I've ever seen from the fan base since I've covered the team since 2017. And there's two other teams in that time frame that didn't make a bowl, whether it be 2018 and 2020. And I don't think there's been as much pushback or as much frustration and anger as there is about this team. One, because this team is, completely underachieving the expectations and the talent that is on the roster. But two is you're kind of losing that blue-collared, physical, tough mentality that we all equate Kansas State football to. That probably is Bill Snyder, closing his eyes, right? Like this is as far away from the culture as we've seen this program in some time.
Right now, we're talking to Derek Young. He covers K-State for On3 Sports, trying to figure out what's wrong with the Wildcats and how they can turn things around. Let's talk about the quarterback position. He threw for 88 yards. He had minus 16 yards rushing. It goes without saying, you can't win if your quarterback was as non-productive as Avery Johnson was. Is there a lack in his development? Is it a problem with the play calling? What do you assess to how Avery has started his season?
I think it's a multitude of factors, as it always is. There is an element that it's hard to throw downfield right now because they are not blocking well enough to hold up that long enough. And because of that, he's probably seeing ghosts a little bit, if we're being quite honest. He's probably getting rid of the ball sometimes before he needs to and going to that check down rather than being a little bit patient and a guy breaks loose and that's the guy that you should ultimately hit. I think we're seeing a little bit of that. But he is a product of his own environment right now. Avery Johnson must be better. And my biggest critique of him is probably his run-pass decisions when Kansas State calls a pass, whether he should hang in the pocket and look for that next guy or just take off if the 10 or 15 yards is there. I think he's not making the right decisions in those moments. But I also cringe at the thought of really putting this on Avery Johnson because I think he's being hampered by everything around him. The backfield right now without Dylan Edwards is probably just not good enough, if I'm being quite honest. The offensive line is probably the worst offensive line I've covered since covering the team since 2017. The receivers are probably more talented and a little bit better than they have been in years past, but they're a little bit banged up right now because you don't have Jerron Bradley, and they're dropping the ball an inordinate amount, which that goes in line to being a receiver. So Avery Johnson has to be better. I think he's part of the problem. I don't think he is the problem.
Yeah, I don't think he's the problem either. It's interesting what you said about him and just taking off. Like, I kind of feel, and this is just me watching K-State as a casual observer, I feel like they've tried to make him a pocket passing kind of quarterback when that's just not really what he is. Like, they kind of got to use him like Tim Tebow. Like, they just got to use him as just a runner, run first, just kind of change their offense, I think, built around his athleticism and his skill set. But I think they've tried to make him something that he's not.
Yeah, I agree. To be quite honest, I totally agree. I've seen, and so, you know, the burner accounts, we all know who they are and what they are on Twitter and on social media, but like putting out freshman highlights of Avery Johnson and how he was as a runner. Remember, he ran for 5 touchdowns as a backup quarterback in Lubbock against Texas Tech his true freshman season. The only thing I would say is like you see his mentality as a runner that year. It is totally different than the mentality that he plays with right now. Now, his run-pass decisions, again, have to be better. I'd like him to be more willing to run. But even when he runs, it looks like it's been coached out of him because he's not the same guy that he was his true freshman season. So I don't know if they've kind of shattered what that runner used to be. But I think he needs to run more. But I also think he needs to be more effective when he runs.
Right now, we're talking to Derek Young for a couple more minutes covering the Kansas State Wildcats, who have gotten off to a slow start. K-State fans are usually very feisty. How are they feeling about Chris Kleiman? He kind of put his foot in his mouth last week. I didn't really understand those comments after a home loss to Army. They then lose another game. You know how quickly things can change when it comes to coach and fan base relationship. Where would you say fans are right now with Kleiman?
Yeah, well, I guess when we're talking about this, we are talking about the most vocal of fans, which sometimes can be different than the majority. So I would try to make that delineation or, you know, distinguish the two right off the bat. But the kind that we're talking about, the most vocal, the most passionate, are running really thin on patience right now. And to be honest, I get it because aside from the results are not good enough. You're 1-3 in a year that you expected to compete for a Big 12 championship. But at the same time, it was also a year where you asked the community to give up a home game to play Iowa State in Ireland. Okay? So you asked them to do that. They did it. You also asked north of, 12,000 fans to fork over thousands and thousands of dollars to go to Ireland and support you. They said, whatever. Okay, we did it because we're going to compete for a Big 12 championship this year. But now you're getting a team that has rewarded that investment, that dedication, and that sacrifice with a lack of effort, a lack of heart, a lack of toughness, and a lack of discipline. And this is not a fan base that will accept those kinds of standards when they give so much to it. So I think that's what we're running into right now. And on top of that, you have a coach that says, you know, I'm dang proud of my football team after they lost to Army, where they had very little heart, discipline, toughness, and physicality. And a coach that said after last year, where they thought they were also going to compete for a Big 12 championship, says it's dang hard to win 8 games. And at times I know where he's coming from with these comments, but it doesn't strike the right tone. So you have a combination of a coach not striking the right tone, a coach not meeting expectations and standards, and a coach doing this while the fan base has been asked to give up more and more and sacrifice more and more. It's just not a good combination right now.
I'll get you out of here with a 2-part question. Do you have K-State making a bowl game this year? Do you think K-State loses to Kansas for the first time in a long time?
I would have K-State probably right now at 6-6, but the more and more I get closer to 5-7. So I haven't looked at it hard enough to come up with a hard line answer, but I'll give you an answer and I'll say 6-6, which gets them to a bowl game, but that lacks very little conviction. What I will tell you is I actually had Kansas State at 10-2 before the season going to Arlington to play for the Big 12 championship, but one of those two losses was a loss to Kansas in the first Sunflower Showdown at the new David Booth Stadium. At this point, I know it sounds crazy, and it's just the way I look at sports because, a lot of the unexpected tends to happen. They probably might have a better chance of winning at Kansas now the way that the season has gone, because that, to me, might be the only game this group gets up for. And when that tends to happen, these things tend to favor that team that gets up for this game. So it wouldn't shock me if they still won that game this year. I had them picked to lose it at the beginning of the year. Now I think they actually might win it in a weird way.
That is Derek Young joining us on the show. He covers the Wildcats for On3 Sports. Derek, I hope the next time that you are on the show, I hope it's just a more positive experience for both of us. I always root for the Wildcats. Now, Rob has been dancing on the grave of K-State. This show supports Kansas State athletics. I want to see them do well.
I wouldn't count on it.
That is Derek Young joining us on the show today. Why you have to end that way? I wouldn't count on it. That ain't right. Rob, can you think of a time where morale has been this low for football and basketball with K-State? They don't like anybody. They don't like the basketball coach. They don't like the quarterback. They don't like the football coach. They don't like nothing.
I'll give K-State fans credit.
They don't like varsity donuts anymore. What's going on?
K-State fans might be the most passionate fan base in town. Like they
just always angry.
But I've never seen them this angry.
This show supports Kansas State athletics. That's going to be my official stance when we talk about K-State. This show supports K-State athletics.
We now support K-State athletics. When they win the Big 12 title, I was like, oh, that's nice. When they're 1-3, should be 0-4. Oh, we love them. God bless them. They're getting smoked.
We have a K-State guest on every week. How much more can I support them?
To talk about how bad they are. We have guests on to be like, yo, how bad is this? We've had Kurtz, we've had Kellis, we've had
That's
Derek.
not my fault. Start winning games, and then the tone will change. The tone will change. I can't talk about you when I can only do with the information I've been given with. Y'all keep losing, so we got to talk about it. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Ready to kick off the fun? Chumba Casino is your go-to game plan during halftime or overtime. From spinning slots to instant scratch-style cards, it's like running the perfect play, all from home. New players score a free welcome bonus and daily logins with a shot at some serious prizes every time you play. Get in the game and visit ChumbaCasino.com today. Let's Chumba. Sponsored by VGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in a state where it's legal to play.
The wait is finally over. Football season is here, and FanDuel is getting you ready for kickoff with an offer that you don't want to miss. New customers, you can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, any bet. Bet $5, and if it wins, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use all across the app. Use it how you want. Build your favorite parlays, bet player props, ride the live lines, whatever your style is. Remember, FanDuel has you covered. Be sure to check out FanDuel.com/KFNZ. Use that promo code to download the FanDuel app today and get started. FanDuel is an official sportsbook partner of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Can help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Gen Z men with college degrees have almost the same unemployment rate today as Gen Z men without a degree. Seems kind of like a no-win situation, but there is a third option, Centric Training.
Centric offers hands-on technology, job skills training. No history, no biology, just technology, and they train you in 4 months, not 4 years. And then they help you find a job if you're unsure about your job future. Go to Centric.com and book a call with my buddy Russ Mondry.
Cybersecurity is the future. Centra can make it your future.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
You could be on the 50 at GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Enter to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA is the proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Robsite Ford. Non-commissioned staff, low prices, best trade-ins, and the biggest selection. Visit Robsite.com.
When it comes to buying a car, simple wins. Robsite Ford has the inventory, the trade values, and the non-commissioned team that puts you first. No pressure, just 4.8 stars on Google for a reason. ROBSIGHT.com.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Brought to you by Robsite Ford. You've got a crash down South 69 northbound at 135th. It is the right lane blocked. And near Independence, that's a stall. 435 southbound, left lane blocked now at Truman from the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, Electric Traffic Center on Val 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's George Karlaftis from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome to the Drive with CDOT on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, I want to tell you two quotes that I read today that are relevant to Kansas City and or the Chiefs. The first quote is about the World Cup. Now, I would say that I'm mildly interested in the World Cup. There's a lot of things about it I just don't know, and I've been learning more and more, just talking to Rob about it, who's a big soccer fan. Spectre is a big soccer fan about it. As a born and raised and true Kansas Cityan, I just want to see Kansas City showcased on the world stage so people outside of the area can understand how incredible where we live is. There was a story that I read, and the headline was, Kansas City's hospitality industry braces for World Cup workforce scramble. And then the little blurb underneath it said that right now there are more than 6,000 open food service job listings, and there is no plan to address this. And people that run restaurants are really, really worried that they're not going to be able to handle the influx of visitors that we're going to have for this event next year. So I'm reading the article, and people are making really good points. Like, hey, this is how many people we normally have. This is what we think we're going to need. And they were raising some pretty valid concerns about this. There was a quote in this story that really put things into perspective for me. Because, again, I don't know. I don't follow soccer like this. If you go off the World Cup teams numbers, and we have their president on the show. We're going to try to get her back on the show. If you go by their numbers, hosting the World Cup for Kansas City is equivalent to us hosting 7 Big 12 tournaments at one time for 3 weeks. Just think about that. Think about how big the Big 12 tournament is, the influx of people that come to downtown Kansas City, and think if we did that 7 times around the country, and we did that for basically a month. It blew my mind. I just didn't have a good understanding of what that is. So in this story, it also continues to go on and say that they are preparing for 650,000 visitors to come to Kansas and Missouri during the World Cup. The closest example is the NFL draft. The NFL draft, they believe, brought around 300,000 visitors. So we are talking about an event that is twice as big as the draft was in the city. Numbers that blew my mind when I read this. So that's just one quote that I want to share with you guys. If you use the numbers that the World Cup team is providing, it would be like Kansas City hosting 7 Big 12 tournaments at one time for 3 times the amount. We're talking 39 days that we're talking about them doing that. That's a long time. That's a really long time to be doing this. The other quote that I want to share to you guys, I got this from Arrowhead Pride. I like that they do this bit called Arrowhead Lines, which is good. It kind of links you to other pieces. I like reading them, see what's on there. And one of the stories linked to an anonymous coach that was talking about the 0-2 stretch for the Kansas City Chiefs. And the quote that really jumped out to me is, the Chiefs' offense doesn't perform like a team that had a month-long training camp. I was thinking, hey, you're right. The Chiefs tout how their training camp gets you prepared for the regular season. Now, some of that is just due to injuries. You had Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy during training camp. You don't have Rashee Rice or Xavier Worthy during the regular season. I'm guessing that is a major reason why that's the case. But I thought it was really good. The Chiefs are really big on preseason preparation and how that gets them ready for the regular season. That is not something that you are currently watching on Sundays when you watch this football team. So, Rob, those were 2 quotes that jumped out at me today as I was getting ready for the show.
Let's take the Chiefs one first. We can circle back to soccer. That is a really alarming quote when you consider the amount of people that I've had on the show, former players, coaches, people who are around Andy Reid, and what do they all say? Andy Reid runs the most grueling camp in the NFL. I finished The Kingdom a while back, the ESPN Plus series. Very good if you're a Chiefs fan. And what do they all say? When you're up in St. Joe, we do long drive drill, and coach gets you ready for the end of the year and the grind. No one's better at coach than the training camp. This, that, and the other about how great Andy Reid is. An unnamed coach in the NFL is giving a quote saying they look like they didn't have camp at all. What changed? Because every year I feel like, and Mitch Holthus comes on and says it, it's, hey, Chiefs training camp is a grind and they prepare better than anyone in the league. That's why they're better than anyone in the league. It's not just coach, it's not just quarterback. They have a higher level of preparation. If you're telling me 2 weeks in, coaches in the league are wondering, hey, what they do in St. Joe, that should be a 5-alarm fire of panic for Chiefs fans, because every other time we have ever talked about training camp, it is glowing reviews and how difficult it is. What was different this year? What changed? Because someone is seeing something very, very different from the Chiefs early in the season.
It does feel to me that there is a little bit of, it's finally open season on the Chiefs. That for the most part, the media has been patting the Chiefs on the back for the last 5 years. There really hasn't been much to criticize for the Chiefs. They play in a lot of big games. They win a lot of big games. Their quarterback is the face of the league. Everybody loves their head coach. Their tight end has become a rising star over the last handful of seasons. There's been a lot of things to really like about the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that teams' opinions are changing about the Chiefs, that now they finally feel gettable. It's kind of like what happened last year with KU. Like, there's so many comparisons. Like, I remember sitting there. And Rob, you remember I texted you when this happened. I was at the last time that Kansas came to Mizzou Arena, and it was pretty obvious. This is when Grady Dick was there and Jalen Wilson was there and all of them. It was pretty obvious in the first, 5 minutes, Missouri's not close to where this team is. Like, they're about to get run off the floor. And then I remember texting you, Rob, after the first 5 minutes. I was like, Missouri can beat them. Kansas doesn't have better talent than Missouri does this year. And then we saw that play out over the course of time. I think a lot of people are kind of having that feeling right now about the Chiefs. Hey, we can beat them. We used to feel like we had to play our A game and everything had to go right in order for us to beat Kansas City. I just don't think teams feel that way about Kansas City. And I think more and more media people are at least starting to echo sort of what they've been hearing around the league. Here's Adam Schefter.
I think other teams look at them and think for the first time in a while, they're beatable. This is the first time in a while that Patrick Mahomes, he's never lost 3 straight games in the NFL. This is the first time it's ever happened. So that air of invincibility, that aura that's been around them, it's dented.
No, absolutely it's dented, and it was dented last year. And quite honestly, it wasn't because Patrick Mahomes, got them through all those games 15-2. It was their defense. Their defense, by the way, yesterday played about as good as you can play.
Yes.
Like they were outstanding in that game. So if anything, that defense is going to have to carry the show again, just like it did last year.
And I think if you are the Chiefs and you are hearing this, to me, their hope seems to be, let's tread water until we get healthy. We are expecting to get healthy and get right in the middle part of October, and then it's going to be hell to pay for all of these teams. That has to be what they are thinking. That is basically what we were saying in August about this team. Man, if you can get everything to line up, if you can get everybody healthy, it will really open up this offense. This offense haven't had their best skill position player for a year. A year. They haven't had Rashee Rice. They now don't have last year who you thought was their best skill position player. They haven't. He doesn't have a catch so far this season. So I think the Chiefs are taking a little bit of damage right now, a little bit of punishment, and the hope just has to be, hey, if we can just be around 500 and we get Rashee Rice back and we get Xavier Worthy, we are still the same championship DNA team that you have always seen, and we're going to start making teams pay at that point. I think that has to be the mindset inside of one Arrowhead drive. Coming up at the top of the hour, we're going to be joined by James Palmer, friend of the show. We'll get his thoughts on the Chiefs' 0-2 starts and also the tush push. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
Hey, this is Patrick Mahomes. Catch me every Tuesday with CDOT at 3:15, right here on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
The Drive is brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Got a stall. 35 southbound as you approach 435. Right lane is blocked and you're slow into Overland Park. Stall and Independence still there. Left lane blocked. 435 southbound at Truman. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, Electric Traffic Center on Val 96.5 The Fan.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. Also that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Ready to kick off the fun? Chumba Casino is your go-to game plan. During halftime or overtime, from spinning slots to instant scratch-style cards, it's like running the perfect play, all from home. New players score a free welcome bonus and daily logins with a shot at some serious prizes every time you play. Get in the game and visit ChumbaCasino.com today. Let's Chumba. Sponsored by VGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in a state where it's legal to play.
This is Creed Humphrey. Kansas City has the best fans in the world and the best bull riding team in the PBR. The Outlaws are looking to win it all this year, but they can't do it without you. I'm the chief of Outlaw Attitude, and I need you to pack the house. So buckle up and make some noise. The Outlaws are coming, and we know KC will be there with us. Come see Kansas City's next dynasty and join me at PBR Team Outlaw Days, October 3rd through 5th.
This is Dana Hughes. In Kansas City football, we honor tradition, but we always look forward to what's next. That's why I'm all in for Flight by Yuengling. It's brewed by the oldest brewery in America, but built for today. 2.6 carbs, 95 calories, crisp, clean, and full of flavor, just the way a light beer should be. It's got the legacy and the stats to back it up. Flight by Yuengling, the next generation of light beer and the official beer of Dana Hughes. BG Yuengling and Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here with the Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. Please gamble responsibly. Coming up week 3, Pro Football Sunday, Minnesota, 3.5-point home favorite against Cincinnati, total 41.5. Both starting quarterbacks are out for this game with injury, so both backups will play, and I like the over in this game once it hits 41. Cincy's backup quarterback threw for over 300 yards against Minnesota's defensive coordinator a couple years ago, and Minnesota's backup quarterback can perform well against a bad Cincy defense, and Minnesota's head coach a quarterback whisperer. So once this number hits 41, let's go over 41 with Cincy and Minnesota. That's it for this Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app today, and please gamble responsibly.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Hi, this is Toby Tobin along with Jason Goodenkoff from Lewisburg Ford in Lewisburg, Kansas. Hi, Jason.
Hello, Toby.
Let's talk about the buying experience at Lewisburg Ford.
It's the best anywhere. Just ask all our customers, Toby. It is hands down the best experience you can have buying a new car. We have the no-hassle Toby Tobin price that we've had for over 45 years now. Nobody else can say that. We've been saving Kansas City thousands and thousands of dollars for a lot of years.
I have been buying Ford cars and trucks from Lewisburg Ford for over 30 years, and I know personally this is the best place to buy a Ford car or truck. Great prices, but there's a whole lot more than that.
It doesn't just stop at price, Toby.
Yeah.
There's other factors to this equation, and it's trade-in allowance, financing, and the experience of how knowledgeable the people are that you're dealing with. And we surpass everybody in all those areas. We always have. We always will. That's why calling us is important.
Do you have that new pickup?
Absolutely. And it's dynamite.
Okay. Lewisburg Ford is your best place to buy a Ford car or truck. What's your toll-free number?
816-444-2300.
Lewisburg Ford or LewisburgFord.com.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code CODE to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code CODE for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code CODE for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
Tonight, expect a temperature of 68 with a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms.
Weather brought to you by Staples. Have you heard? The Staples Easy button is back with even more easy. Press it for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos. Staples. That was easy.
Robsite Ford. Non-commissioned staff, low prices, best trade-ins, and the biggest selection. Visit robsite.com.
Shopping for a new Ford? Go where it's easy. Rob Sight Ford. Non-commissioned staff, huge trade-in values, and Kansas City's top-rated Ford dealer. Rob Sight Ford. ROBSIGHT.com.
Hey, it's Trey Smith. The Chiefs Radio Network pregame show starts 3 hours before kickoff right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Welcome back into the drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. We head to the phone lines right now to be joined by a friend of the show, James Palmer. He is with the Athletic and Bleacher Report to talk about the 0-2 start for the Kansas City Chiefs. James, happy to have you back on the show.
It's been a minute, man. How you been?
Doing great, man. It's been a while since the Chiefs have had their backs up against the wall. This is the question that everybody is asking in Kansas City. Are you panicked by the 0-2 start?
I don't think you panic because of the head coach, because of the continuity, because of the quarterback. Do I think there's a feeling inside the building that is different than years past when they've had some moments where they need to figure things out? I definitely think that's true, if that makes sense. I think there is a different feeling, however slight it is. I don't think there's panic, that this is a little bit different than in years past where we need to figure something out, whether it's the slow start for the defense where they start off to, remember the season where they started off historically bad in yards per play and figured things out as the season went on. I do think some of the issues that are, of note are ones that they think they can correct, but I don't know if the confidence level is as high as it's been in the past about correcting some of them. And I think there's a key player in this, which is the rest of the division is much better. I mean, I think we do need to be clear. I don't take anything away from the Chiefs going to 7 straight AFC title games, and that's all they know in the Patrick Mahomes era. The rest of the division, for the vast majority of that, has not been very good. And now you have, and you saw last night, the Raiders are as tough as they come. The Chargers are legit. And I think Broncos were the team everybody was picking as the darling. It hasn't gone as well as they've, wanted to at the start of the season, but they're definitely better as well. So I think all of this plays a part in going, we're not panicking, but there are definite issues, and we're not sure if we're going to figure all of them out, but we'll probably get some of them. That puts us in a spot where we don't panic, but there's concern.
One issue that I've really been kind of beating the drum for on this show is I thought it was pretty clear this offseason that the Chiefs needed to make an improvement in the running back room, and the Chiefs were just very slow to make changes. They brought in Elijah Mitchell. He has been inactive for the first 2 games of the season. Brashard Smith, the 7th-round pick, he only has 1 carry. You're not getting any explosiveness for the run game. Patrick Mahomes is a dynamic quarterback. He shouldn't be leading quarterbacks in rush yards. That's just not the kind of style of quarterback that he is. I feel like their offense right now struggles to have an identity, and a large part of that is their offense feels so dependent on Pat to go be special when he just doesn't have those weapons on the outside that he's accustomed to.
Yeah, the first part of that is 100% true. I think we saw last night a Houston Texans team that just couldn't run the ball at all, right? And that's a credit to the Bucs too, but without Joe Mixon, it's not been the same run game there. And, it really hung C.J. Stroud out to dry. And it's hard to play one-dimensional when everybody knows that's the case. And Patrick's not just leading all quarterbacks in rushing, he's leading the Chiefs in rushing. He's led them in both games. And so, yeah, that's an aspect that you would think that, okay, is Isaiah Pacheco going to be back to the guy he was a couple of years ago prior to the injury? And we saw him, run the rock and kind of help kind of demoralize defenses and wear them down physically a little bit. That doesn't seem to be there right now. And so that's an aspect. And then the second part of what you said, I think, is really one of the biggest parts of what's going on with this team offensively. I think Pat feels like he has to do everything. And I think he feels like when he plays at his best, which was otherworldly essentially almost in game 1, and it's not equating to wins. And that's when things start to get a little dicey. You could then have a quarterback on your hands, and this has happened around the league, where they feel like they have to do everything, right? And they feel like they have to put the entire team on their back and do it themselves. And do they trust everything around them? I think these are all, questions that we need that were relevant to ask about the situation. And I think Patrick's probably not at his best when he's feeling that way. And I think he probably, my educated guess is, he feels that way a little bit right now.
Right now, we're talking to James Palmer with The Athletic and also with Bleacher Report. This was a question that I think many people, myself, yourself included, asked this question. The AFC has been Kansas City, Baltimore, and Buffalo for the last 3 years or so, and we were waiting to see if there was going to be another team that entered the mix. It looks like the Chargers could potentially be in that conversation. Are you ready to put them there, or do you need to see more and we just need to let more time happen before we put the Chargers in the mix with those 3 teams?
Well, I think they're the team that everybody was curious, were they going to be the ones to do it? I think there was a minute there everybody thought Houston was going to be that team. They've gone through the divisional round each of the last 2 seasons. But that offensive line seems to be a real problem. I think the Chargers are the team that everybody's picking. I mentioned that I think before the season started, everybody was picking Denver. But when I look at Denver's, skill position guys, that's not what the Chargers have. Chargers have a better group. And I think Bo Nix had a really, really good rookie season. This all hinges on Justin Herbert. And I think we were all wondering, if you bring up to league circles, Carrington, you talk to people around the league, it's who's the guy that you're just waiting to eventually put it all together and has the talent to get in that group of the top 4, which the top 4 is what? It's Patrick, and it's Lamar, and it's Josh, and it's Joe. It's Justin Herbert. He's the unanimous really name, honestly, that everybody thinks he has all the tools to get into that group. It just hasn't come together. Well, now he has a head coach that believes he can be in that group. He has an offensive coordinator that believes he can be in that group. They've unleashed him in terms of running the football. He's healthy, which has not always been the case. He has some weapons around him, and it's a funny little connection, but through the first 5 years of his career and through the first 5 years of Peyton Manning's career, they're the only two quarterbacks to throw for more than 125 touchdowns and not win a playoff game. In year 6, Peyton Manning led the league in passing, won MVP, and won 2 postseason games, and it started to start rolling in Indianapolis. This is year 6 for Herbert. Does it start rolling for him? There's enough evidence here with as good as this defense is as well, and the way that they've survived the Rashawn Slater injury. I think they're legit, and the scheduling anomaly that is playing all 3 of your divisional opponents in the first 3 weeks that just doesn't happen. If they beat Denver this week, I mean, they're in a really great spot in the AFC West, just 3-0 in the division when you look at where everybody else is.
Right now, we're talking to James Palmer of The Athletic and Bleacher Report, going over some of the top stories in the NFL as the Chiefs get ready for Sunday Night Football coming up against the New York Giants. I want to talk about a national story that affects the Chiefs but also affects a lot of other teams in the league. I believe that Tyreek Hill is going to be traded at some point this season. It feels a lot like what happened last year with Devontae Adams, where we all knew that he was going to be traded. We also knew what team he was going to be traded to. I think there's a lot of possibilities for Tyreek Hill. Kansas City makes some sense. I can see the Chargers really trying to go for it and make a move. San Francisco is a little bit light at wide receiver. Do you see it the same way? Are you hearing it the same way, that you and I are going to be having a conversation in mid-October that Tyreek Hill plays for another team?
I would say our assumptions are correct. I would say it's not there yet because of 2 things. One, if they do that, it's essentially things have gotten even worse than a players-only meeting after week 1 like it happened in Miami. It's that, some people could be potentially losing their jobs, whether it's Mike McDaniel or it's Greer at the GM position. And so I think, obviously, they're not going to jump the gun on that. Right? They're going to keep waiting to see if their season can be salvageable and to see if they can keep this thing going offensively with him and Waddle and Tua, and they can keep rolling. They held on to him this offseason for a reason, right? The talent is still there. They got rid of the other guys that are malcontents in that locker room, and they didn't get rid of Tyreek. So they're not going to jump at the beginning of the season, and these type of trades just don't happen in the first couple of weeks because of everything I listed with the Dolphins. And then on the other side, other teams just don't make trades like this early in the season on a player like this, because they're still figuring out their roster. Let's use Pittsburgh as a really good example. They've done some deals with Miami, right, in recent memory, and they've been looking to see if they have a complimentary number 2 wide receiver to DK Metcalf. Well, right now, early in the season, it looks like Calvin Austin might be that guy. Well, let's get a larger sample size to see if the guy's already on our roster to be the complement to DK Metcalf, and we don't have to make a trade. So teams are still early on evaluating what they have, and they don't want to jump the gun this early. That's kind of why, yes, by the trade deadline, this is a very realistic possibility in a lot of people's minds. Just right now, I don't think it's something that's probably feasible, but it's certainly something to watch. And I think the contract plays a little part in it. But there's another part that, you didn't bring up. There's the off-the-field situation right now that's getting looked at by the NFL, and that's going to play a part in this as well.
James, I'm curious to get your thoughts on Philadelphia's tush push. It feels to me that Sunday's game was the turning point in all of this. I think there were a lot of people like me. If I was an owner, I would have voted to keep the tush push this offseason. A lot of it felt like sour grapes. A lot of it felt like, well, you guys can't run it as effectively. You guys can't stop it, so now you want to stop them from doing it. Watching them run it 7 times on Sunday, I felt like the offensive line was pretty routinely lined up incorrectly. I think you saw multiple false starts that didn't get called. You hear Dean Blandino basically throw his hands up in the air and say, we can't officiate this play. It felt like Sunday's game was a major turning point for that play.
I think so. I think it was, and I'm with you. If every team is doing it on every team's doing it on 3rd and 4th down, and they're converting it routinely, get rid of the play. But until another team becomes really good at it, I mean, we all saw it. I was standing on the sideline last year in the postseason when Josh Allen and company tried it, and they couldn't get it, and it cost them the game. And so I'm with you that I still believe it should be. I know it's not aesthetically pleasing, which is for some reason matters to some people. Now, in terms of the offensive line lining up incorrectly and there being false starts, that doesn't make the play illegal. That makes it an issue with the officiating crew that is not calling it properly, right? I mean, I think that's a more accurate spot. That doesn't mean the play is bad. It means they're not officiating it correctly. And Dean, it was interesting because I think that's why Sunday was a big deal. When you have a former head of officiating, and I know Dean, and he used to come talk to us at NFL Network and tell us everything that was going on. When he says on a broadcast with millions of people listening, I'm done with the tush push, like that's a really big statement. It's really big. And I think we know where the commissioner stands on this. It's just not an ironic thing that the Green Bay Packers are the ones that, that propose to have it banned, the one team without an acting owner. That's more than just a coincidence. And so I do think there's an agenda to get rid of it. I do think it's trending in that direction. Is it a very, very difficult to play to defend when the Eagles do it? Yes, it is. And so I just think it is trending that way, and I think Philadelphia running it 7 times against the Chiefs might be a little bit of the Eagles going, we're probably not going to have this play for after this year. We're going to run it to death. We're just going to keep running it because we may not have a chance to run it after this year. But I agree with you that I would vote against banning it as long as it's called correctly. That's the biggest thing. Call it right. If you think they false start and they're offsides, then call them on it. You know what I mean? I don't think that part should be in the equation of banning the play.
I want to get your opinions on this Tom Brady issue. I feel like we're only allowing this because it's Tom Brady, and I get it. He is the greatest quarterback of all time. He is still one of the faces of the league, even though he's not an active player. I just find it hard to believe that we would let any minority owner operate the way that he is being allowed to operate. The league talks so much about integrity and competitive balance between the teams, yet we are giving one team a tremendous competitive advantage solely based off who their minority owner is.
Yeah, I mean, I put this tweet out during the game, and it's got millions of impressions apparently on X, and rightfully so. Everybody has an opinion on it. I think a lot of fans, and this isn't dogging fans, this is just, I hope I can educate them a little bit, like, are uneducated on the matter. Most of the comments I saw, and there's hundreds of them on my tweet, is like, well, then just have the players and coaches not talk to him. That's easy. Why are we crying about this? Like, it's not an headed advantage. He's just a broadcaster. There's a lot of layers to this. Like, there really are. Like, I've been, the sideline reporter for NFL Network broadcast games, right? I've been in those production meetings. They are really the last fully open and transparent type of meetings between the media and these coaches and these players that's left. And there is a lot of integrity and a lot of people I really, really respect, from Jim Nantz to Tracy Wolfson to Evan Washburn to, the list goes on, that they keep a lot of what's said in those meetings to themselves because there's a lot of honesty in there. It's to help educate them on calling the game properly and knowing kind of what's going right and wrong for teams. And all of those people that work these games keep a lot of that to themselves, and it's off the record. Well, if you're saying those things to a person that is a minority owner of another team, they can go and use that information in a variety of ways. Now, a lot of people say what goes on in the meeting is just, about the game plan for that specific week, so it doesn't really matter. No, you can find out what players are upset with the organization. You can find out what players are maybe on the outs with the organization. It can give you an advantage possibly in free agency. It can give you an advantage in a lot of different ways in a league that is cloaked in secrecy. Like, so many head coaches give very little information, and this is a place that information is given. And so I think there is a bit of an interesting dynamic here that the league is, put in or put themselves in all honesty. And if they didn't think it was a problem, why did they delete the tweet promoting it? Like, why did they take their own tweet down talking about Tom Brady being up there and having meetings with his own offensive staff? Like, so they must have some sense that it's an interesting, conversation that needs to be had about ethics and where, where conflict of interest can be. And you're also talking, and I love Tom, and I think he's the greatest player in the history of the league. He also has been accused and found guilty of cheating within the NFL. his organization has been found guilty of cheating within the NFL. And so I just find it very, very interesting that they're allowing this to happen. And I think the statement again today shows that this is a topic that's probably not going to go away. And I hope fans kind of know that, like, it's an interesting – you're putting a lot of players and coaches in interesting spots during those meetings. And they're talking to Tom Brady too. There's a lot of players talking to Tom Brady that respect the hell out of him. They might say more than they're supposed to. And I think Tom's going to file that away.
Last thing, James, and we appreciate your time as always. We have seen 2 weeks of the NFL. Is there a team that you've been surprised at their start and they've really impressed you? You like how they've looked? I guess outside of Kansas City, because they're 0-2, has there been a team that has disappointed you, a team that you're surprised at how slow of a start or how disappointing they've looked so far this season?
Yeah, I'd say the surprise team out to a really good start is definitely Indianapolis. I mean, nobody thought this was going to happen. And, I mean, their punter has not participated in the NFL yet. We're approaching week 3. He hasn't punted a football. I mean, I guess he's the holder, but he hasn't punted a football in 2 games. I mean, we didn't see this from Daniel Jones, but I do think that's a better team than maybe some people expected, and now they're exceeding expectations. And I think Shane Steichen's actually a pretty good play caller, and he found a guy that can operate it the way that he wants to be operated, and they can very much win that division because of the other team I'm looking at is Houston being 0-2. Like, that's supposed to be one of the best defenses in football, and that is a really, really talented group of skill guys, from Nico Collins to the 2 rookies to, you know, they'll get Christian Kirk back this week, and they've been without him. But you have a good tight end. Like, I thought, you know, this could be a team if they get the offensive line figured out and they change play callers because they thought that would fix some things, that they're sitting at 0-2. I think those are the 2 that kind of stand out to me about being the ones that have surprised me in either direction. And then just real quick, I'll just say, like, Green Bay is seriously for real. Like, seriously for real. Like, that defense is about as fast as we can see in the NFL. Jordan Love has all the weapons in the world, a complex, creative running game. Like, the Packers, I think, are a real threat to come out of the NFC now. But those are the 3 kind of takeaways I have through the first 2 weeks.
That is James Palmer of The Athletic, also Bleacher Report, friend of the show. We like to check in with him periodically and get an update on what is happening in the National Football League. The Chiefs are currently 0-2. It feels very weird to say that the Chiefs have a must-win game in Week 3 on the road against the New York Giants. I'm with you, James. I haven't pressed that panic button yet for the Chiefs. But if you and I talk next week and they are 0-3 and they have to beat Baltimore at home, I will have pressed the panic button at that point.
I think it's fair. I think the one thing, really quick, I'll say this: you just want to make sure Patrick keeps things on the tracks, and he doesn't like overextend himself trying to do everything before, like, Rashee Rice comes back. You know what I mean? Before he gets Xavier Worthy fully healthy. Like, I think that's what everybody in Chiefs country is waiting for, or Chiefs Kingdom, is waiting for. But I just think, you know, they have to win this game, and I think winning by double digits is kind of important, honestly.
That is James Palmer joining us on the show. James, we appreciate you.
Always, brother. Always.
I do not care how many points the Chiefs beat the Giants by. There have been times in my career that I would have cared, for sure. And if you think that's hypocritical, I'm willing to accept that and own that. I don't care how they win. They just got to put this one in the win column. Their schedule is difficult enough. They have multiple games against the Broncos. They still have a game left against the Chargers. They go on the road and play the Buffalo Bills this season. They still got a game left against Baltimore. They play the Lions. They play the Commanders. Like, I can go up and down the schedule. This is off memory. A game to the Giants cannot be in the loss column. Not for a team that we think is going to be picking in the top 8. No. I don't care how. You will not hear a second of complaining from me if they win a 15-14 last-second field goal, grind it out kind of game. Hey, right now it is about trying to be 3-3 or 4-2 whenever they get Rashee Rice back. That's the goal. I don't care how. I really don't. I'm not going to judge them. I'm not holding them to it. That is not a concern for me. So I want to at least point that out based on what we just heard from James Palmer. I really do think that Tyreek Hill is getting traded between now and the trade deadline. I know that that's not the topic this week the way that it was last week, and that's perfectly fine. I mean, it's week 2 heading into week 3 of the NFL season. I don't think we're going to have weekly updates on if the Dolphins are going to trade Tyreek Hill, but we all know where this is headed. Right now, if you look at the odds, Mike McDaniel is the overwhelming choice to be the first coach to get fired. It feels like we are headed towards a soft reset for the Dolphins. New coach, maybe new quarterback. You get Tyreek Hill's number off the books. Maybe you do something with Devon Achane. It just feels like to me the Dolphins are about 3 weeks from blowing this thing up. They are right around the corner of it. So we don't got to dive all the way into it. We certainly will have a lot of time. I'm guessing there's going to be a handful of shows where Tyreek Hill is the number one topic in Kansas City. I think at some point he'll be the number one topic in the NFL. I still think there's more than enough juice there. I just don't think the Dolphins are a good enough team to get it out of them. All right, I want to ask you guys this question, and we'll discuss it more coming up in just a bit. What do you think the Chiefs' offensive identity is as they are heading into week 3 and they are heading into Sunday Night Football? What do you think the identity of this offense is? What do you think the identity of this team is? I'll tell you what I think it is. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison. Watch the show on YouTube by subscribing to the 965 YouTube channel. The Drive, brought to you by DM Entry Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Entry Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5, The Fan.
Get your home ready for the change in seasons with a $69 HVAC tune-up from Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. Our pros can help you lower energy costs, prevent costly breakdowns, and make sure your system is running at peak efficiency right when you need it most. And it's all backed by our exceptional service guarantee. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews are great reasons to trust Hamilton. Visit callhamilton.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind: to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my 2 sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-814-1500. That's 800-814-1500. 800-814-1500.
What matters to you matters to us. That's why Busey Bank takes the time to understand your goals and build solutions that fit your story. From everyday banking to long-term planning, our team is here to help you navigate every stage with care and expertise. We're more than a bank. We're your neighbor, your advisor, and your advocate. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Listen up, folks. I want to tell you guys about my new obsession. It's Daisy French Onion Dip. With football season here, it is the perfect dip for your chips, your wings. The delicious Daisy French Onion Dip and the Daisy Ranch Dip, they're game changers. They're delicious as a homemade dip, and they're made with real herbs and real spices and also ingredients that you find right there in your kitchen. So the next time you're having people come over to celebrate the start of the football season, you better make sure you have one thing, and I'm talking about that Daisy French Onion Dip. You can find it the next time you go to the grocery store.
From Kansas City to the capital city, Washburn University is close. Sure, it's close to home, but it's also a close community where you get close to other students and professors, to incredible opportunities, from study abroad to internships and jobs, and where it's always easy to get close to the action. Get one step closer to your dreams. There's no place like Washburn. It's not even close. Learn more at washburn.edu/KC.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Announcing Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event. Up to 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models for 72 months. And we have the largest selection of Subaru certified vehicles in Kansas City, starting as low as 1.9% for 72 months.
0% event and a lifetime warranty. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
Based on January 2025 through June 2025 Kansas City inventory listings.
Hi, I'm Sam Silvio with M. Shamus Brazilian Grill in the village of Burlington Creek. Holidays will be here before you know it, and M. Shamus is ready to get a jingle from you. From our all-you-can-eat hot and cold gourmet salad bar to our 12 cuts of beef, lamb, pork, or chicken. Go to mshamus.com to order our famous Brazilian glazed holiday hams in advance or set a holiday party date for a table of 1 to a party of 100. Go to mshamus.com and discover the joy of dining.
Today we're constantly taking photos and videos to remember our favorite moments. But what about those captured before the smartphone? What about the memories tucked away on aging VHS tapes, film reels, or in fading photos?
These cherished memories are fading away with time, vulnerable to threats like heat, moisture, and mold. But fear not, there's a solution to safeguard your legacy. Hi, I'm Adam.
And I'm Nick. Together we founded Legacy Box over a decade ago with one mission, to bring your memories into the 21st century.
It's time to bid farewell to old tapes you can't watch and faded photos. Legacy Box transforms them into digital treasures, ready to share with a click.
Just like magic, your shoebox of memories is now safely stored in the cloud or on a thumb drive.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box, so you can rest assured your priceless moments are in good hands.
Don't let your childhood fade away on old tapes. It's time to digitize those priceless moments.
Fast forward into the digital age. Visit legacybox.com/value and unlock 50% off your order. That's legacybox.com/value.
This report is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Brought to you by Conley Plumbing Solutions. You've got a crash near Olathe to deal with now, 35 southbound just before 169 highway. Right lane is blocked. You're slow all the way up into Overland Park. Crash in Blue Springs, 70 eastbound. Right lane blocked at Woods Chapel. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, Electric Traffic Center on Val 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Hey, it's Trey Smith from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to the Drive with CDOT on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, I asked you guys this question before the break. What would you consider the Chiefs' offensive identity to be right now? I want to play for you some audio, and I'll give you my answer. Nate Taylor was on Cody and Gold earlier today. He was asked, hey, what is Matt Nagy's fault? What is not Matt Nagy's fault with the offense? I know you guys are unhappy with Matt Nagy. I had a little bit of a differing opinion, but I'm curious to hear what Nate Taylor says. Here's what he said.
I also want to say that the second half was excellent in Sao Paulo from an offensive perspective. It's not Matt Nagy's fault that there was some miscommunication between Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce on that crossing route, that if they do connect, he waltzed into the end zone. You could make a similar argument, not as strong, about Sunday. Again, not Matt Nagy's fault that, the ball is a little tick early, but it's in your hands. It's on your forearm. You got to find a way to catch it, or at least not let it turn to a turnover. The development of younger players is where you should question Matt Nagy. It is not Andy Reid's job, or it shouldn't be Andy Reid's job if we consider him
to make Sky Moore better.
Yeah,
to make Pacheco have better vision on the ground.
Correct. Andy Reid is above most of this. Now, he will take time to individually coach guys. It's the same thing with Steve Spagnuolo on the defense, but his philosophy has always been, I am a teacher. I teach the players and I coach the coaches so that the coaches can better teach the players. Well, the Chiefs have the worst running back duo through 2 weeks. Is that a player issue or is that a Matt Nagy / Todd Pinkston issue?
All right. I hate that I've turned into the person that has to defend Matt Nagy, but okay, here I am. I'm not even doing this to be counter. I'm not even doing this to be on the other side, but okay. Let's start with the run game part that he made about Isaiah Pacheco, Kareem Hunt, and where they are. The Chiefs have a 7th-round running back who is coming off a significant leg injury heading into his final season. They had a choice. They were at a crossroads with their offense. Right now, they don't have a single player outside of Brashard Smith who is under contract for next season at the position. One reason why I was screaming that they should draft somebody is you have a long-term plan at the position. So like the Broncos, for example, you got J.K. Dobbins, but you also have R.J. Harvey. So you got the J.K. Dobbins for the short term, and you also got a long-term option with a running back that people like. That's not what the Chiefs decided to do. So I'm blaming Matt Nagy for the lack of urgency in trying to improve the position and trying to make Isaiah Pacheco work when it might not work anymore. Like, there is a possibility of that it just doesn't work anymore. Now, let's talk about the wide receiver room. Again, I hate that they are putting me in a position where I got to be, it feels like, the only person in the city that defends Matt Nagy, that maybe you haven't given him the pieces to put together one of these offenses. They developed Rice. They developed Worthy, did they not? Those are two players that got better as the season progressed. So we don't give if we're saying that Matt Nagy's job is to develop the young players, there are two young receivers we're developing. One got cross-checked into the IR, and the other one got himself suspended. I don't think that's a Matt Nagy issue. Now I'm looking at the guys that you do have. What young players should he be coaching up? Tell me who's young in their offense currently. I'm talking about the guys that played on Sunday. Who's young? They're getting some out of Tyquan Thornton. He's a young guy. He's a guy who's in, year 3, failed second-round pick. I mean, he's been their best receiver so far. Hollywood Brown's not young. We're mad at Matt Nagy because he's not getting the most out of Nico Remigio. Is Juju still young? You brought back Juju. Juju had 1 catch for 5 yards. So I'm all for blaming Matt Nagy for things that he should be blamed for. I just got to challenge Nate Taylor a little bit. If we're saying developing the young players, you got to tell me what players on offense they're supposed to be developing that they haven't already developed. Yes, they missed on Sky Moore. Did Matt Nagy draft Sky Moore? Is there an offense that we think he would have worked in? I'm just asking. You guys know my stance on Matt Nagy. I don't think they've given him a whole lot of pieces. I don't think they've given him a whole lot of dogs. I don't think they're very talented right now on offense with the injuries that they currently have. So I'm not putting that on Matt Nagy if we're saying that's what his responsibility is. If we don't think he's the one calling the plays, we also don't think he's the one shopping for groceries. I don't know what more I can be asking their offensive coordinator to do given their circumstances. Now, let me ask the question that I posed. What would I say is the offensive identity of the Kansas City Chiefs right now? I think it's Pat Save Us. I think that's their offensive identity today. I don't think that'll be their offensive identity a month from now. I don't think that'll be their offensive identity in December. Hopefully not in January. But I think right now, I think their plan is, Pat, we need you to save us. We need you to be the absolute best you can be. We need you to run. If you think that there's a lane there, you need to go do it. And I understand that being a plan for a short-term period of time. But we got to hold some level of responsibility to Brett Veach. And Brett Veach we trust. We trusted Brett Veach with the run game. He didn't do anything with it. They brought back Hollywood and Juju Smith-Schuster. They combined for 35 yards in Sunday's game. Nico Remigio. You ain't really got a whole lot. This team's offensive philosophy was based on everybody getting back and everybody being healthy, which is a great plan when everybody is there and everybody is healthy and everybody's available. In fact, it's the best plan. Their plan did not involve any injuries happening to their team. There was not a plan B anywhere. There's not a plan B at running back. There's not a plan B when it comes to the wide receiver room if an injury happens. You can't look at their roster and think they had a plan B.
We agree. If I can push the button back here, we agree on what the Chiefs' offensive identity is. They are very reliant on number 15. Where me and you disagree is, I'm worried that that's still going to be their identity in week 9, in week 12. in Week 15. And it's because of what you just said. They weren't prepped for the beginning of the season to deal with any injury. Do you know what I know is going to happen over the course of an NFL season? More injuries. Not because, I'm some, able to see the future, that's so Raven
Football
type.
happens.
It's football. So if you didn't have a backup plan in week 1 through 6, which is presumably when you're going to be the healthiest because you're coming out of camp, you're not having a backup plan weeks 7 through 18 is also concerning. So I think their identity right now is, Pat, go be great. I'm terrified that's the same identity they'll have in week 12. Let's just say Holly Brown gets hurt. He's been hurt before. We don't know. Let's just say, Jawan Taylor gets hurt. Let's say Kingsley Sumatia gets hurt. Let's say Travis Kelce at 35 has missed a game or two due to injury. Are they able to sustain those? Probably not, which would mean the identity is, Pat, go be great. And I'm terrified that's their 18-week plan, because 2 weeks into that plan, it has been bad. It's been a bad plan.
Someone on the text line says, CDOT, are you saying that Matt Nagy's job is to do nothing at all? I don't know what Matt Nagy's job is, if I'm being completely honest with you. I don't know what his job is. If Nate is telling me it's his job to develop young players, I think he has done a fine job at that. I think they developed Xavier Worthy the second half of the season. I think they developed Rashee Rice into a pretty good number 1 wide receiver. I don't think they had anything to do with the ACL tear or LCR. I don't think they had anything to do with Xavier Worthy dislocating his shoulder. I don't think they had anything to do with that. Outside of that, I don't know if they've really given Matt Nagy or the offense a lot of really good other young players to develop. They haven't given Matt Nagy a 23-year-old 4th-round pick running back that we think they haven't used correctly. So I would just say I think they have done the best with the pieces they have been given. I don't know if they were given great pieces. I don't know if they were given very explosive pieces. I told you guys this 3 weeks ago. I think Juju is done. I think he is done as an NFL player. I think his body, it's over. He's been injured for most of his career. I think the Patriots told you his knees didn't work. They got out of that contract immediately. It really hasn't worked since he's been here in Kansas City. Or the second time, not the first time. The first time he was very, very good. Since then, I think it's over for him at 28 years old. They brought that player back this offseason. So I understand the frustration with Nagy, and I get it, and the offensive coordinator is usually the first one. If you're not going to blame the coach, you're not going to blame the quarterback, the easiest person to blame is the offensive coordinator. I don't know what more Matt Nagy could do with the pieces that they currently have healthy and available. I just don't think they have a lot of juice. I don't think they have a lot of dogs. This is an offense right now that is built around a 35-year-old podcaster. That's just that's not a top 10 offense in the National Football League. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
This is Wyatt Thompson from K-State, and you're listening to The Drive with CDOT right here on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
From pads and rotors to shocks and struts, coming to a full stop should never mean your business does too. At Napa, we are the pros that know brakes and suspension better than anyone. So when others are grinding their gears, our premium parts and exceptional service deliver results. Whether you're operating a local shop or managing a national fleet, Napa has exactly what you need, when and where you need it. Get the brake and suspension parts you're looking for right now at Napa.
Hey, almost Andy Reid here. It's been an honor to give back to the community that's embraced me being almost your head coach. Thanks for letting me be part of your team. Renner Garage Door is a teammate of mine that also values the community that they served for decades, always giving back and delivering wins with top brands like Geldon, Amar, and LiftMaster. Need a repair or replacement? Get a free estimate today. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with AutoPay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025, Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 and monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Hi, we're your friends who get super excited about the holidays.
We sure are, or this isn't the ugliest holiday sweater ever.
People think we're happy because we love peppermint lattes.
Or catching snowflakes on our tongues.
But really, it's because
it's Holiday Millionaire Raffle Season!
It's your best odds to win $1 million.
That's dollars, not twinkling lights, but that would be great too.
Play the Kansas Lottery Holiday Millionaire Raffle. Get excited!
See kslottery.com for details.
More than a few of our patients have talked to me about their first time, but it's not the first time you're probably thinking about. It's the first time that erectile dysfunction ruined the moment. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're over 50, it's likely that you've had that first time yourself. But the good news is that if you're like most men, that first time can be the last time that ED impacts your sex life. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men using protocols with success rates well over 90%. And those treatments have, in most cases, made sex great again for both them and their partners. You could even find that you're performing like you haven't in years. So if ED has been affecting your intimacy, it's time to make the last time that happens the last time that happens. For just $99, you'll receive blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
From pads and rotors to shocks and struts, coming to a full stop should never mean your business does too. At Napa, we are the pros that know brakes and suspension better than anyone. So when others are grinding their gears, our premium parts and exceptional service deliver results. Whether you're operating a local shop or managing a national fleet, Napa has exactly what you need, when and where you need it. Get the brake and suspension parts you're looking for right now at Napa.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Brought to you by Conley Plumbing Solutions. You've got a crash near Olathe to deal with now, 35 southbound just before 169 highway. Right lane is blocked. You're slow all the way up into Overland Park. Gratiot Blue Springs, 70 eastbound. Right lane blocked at Woods Chapel. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, Electric Traffic Center on Val 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
Text line 913-586-7965. We played a cut from Nate Taylor where Nate said that he feels that Matt Nagy hasn't done a great job in developing some of the younger players on the team. My question was, aside from Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice, what other young players have they tried to add to the offense? They've brought a lot of players who kind of know the system and know the scheme, but, I mean, their running back room I wouldn't consider to be young at this point. Their wide receivers this offseason, they brought back Hollywood Brown and Juju Smith-Schuster. Like, they just don't really have a lot of those young players on the offensive side of the ball. They have a lot of them at corner. They have a lot of those players in the secondary. They don't have a lot of young players on offense. So if we're going to be critical of Matt Nagy, I think you got to give him more young players. And we're saying that's what his kind of job is, to kind of develop a lot of those guys. Someone just texted in because I was talking about Juju Smith-Schuster. CDOT, didn't Juju have a 140-yard game last season? He did. Juju Smith-Schuster last year, so this was actually almost a year ago, he had 7 catches for 130 yards in Week 5 against the New Orleans Saints. Since that game, Juju Smith-Schuster has played in 14 games for the Chiefs and has 220 yards. Juju, since rejoining the Chiefs, he has 2 games in which he's had more than 40 yards receiving. That's just where I think we are now at this point with Juju. I don't think that guy can be a consistent producer for you in this offense. And right now, with the Chiefs being shorthanded the way that they are, and we'll find out tomorrow, Xavier Worthy is going to practice. Is he going to be able to play? That just gives them another body. I just don't think they have a whole lot to work with right now in that wide receiver room, which is why I've been really banging the drum. Well, if you don't got it at wide receiver, you need to be able to rely on running the football, and they can't rely on running the football. And I think that has led to some of the offensive issues that they have. But I don't want to make it seem like it's all negative with the Chiefs. It's certainly not all negative. Let's talk about a couple of the positives, Rob. One of the positives has been their left tackle. Josh Simmons has been as advertised. He has been very good. If you're somebody that buys into the numbers on Pro Football Focus, Josh Simmons has graded out very, very well on Pro Football Focus. I'll give you the numbers. In Sunday's game, more appropriately, he faced 36 pass block attempts. He didn't allow a pressure. He didn't allow a sack. And that's going up against a defensive line that we think is one of the best in the National Football League. In fact, if you want to go to all of Pro Football Focus, there were only 2 offensive linemen, offensive tackles, that graded out better than Josh Simmons did in Week 2. One was Garrett Bowles. The other was Trent Williams. Third was Josh Simmons. So if you are looking for some hope, some optimism about this team, they completely look like they nailed the Josh Simmons pick. That's how you felt when they made the pick. We heard a lot of people talking about him early on in the training camp portion, that they had swung big and hit a home run. I mean, the numbers would come out pretty well. He had a really, really good season. He graded out at an 87.8. For those of you that follow Pro Football Focus, I mean, Trent Williams got a 90.8. So he was just a notch below what Trent Williams gave you in Week 2. And I think that Trent Williams is the best left tackle in the National Football League. I think he's a potential first ballot Hall of Famer. I think he is the best tackle of his generation. I would also say, and I've been critical of each, and that's fine, I have to give him credit for Tyquan Thornton. Brett Veach has made it a point to kind of look for those Brett Veach specials, we call them. A guy who's a former first, second round, maybe a third round pick, a guy who didn't work in his current or his old situation. You bring him into Kansas City, you incorporate them into what you're doing, and you see what you can get. Tyquan Thornton was not a player that we spent a lot of time talking about when the season or in the offseason. We didn't spend a lot of time kind of applauding that move. I think right now he's their best receiver. I don't think that's going to be the case once we get going, but I mean, right now, I think Tyquan Thornton has been one of the players that they can depend on and they can rely on. I think Patrick has missed him a couple of times. He missed him multiple times in game 1, where if you connect on maybe 1, 2 more of those plays, you end up winning the game. He also had him wide open down the middle of the field in Week 2 and just missed him. I think Tyquan Thornton has been their best, most consistent, and if you have looked for a big play in this offense, I think there have been chances for Tyquan Thornton to make those big plays. I just don't think they've executed them so far.
I remember I was admittedly skeptical of the Tyquan Thornton hype. I felt like, all right, this is what people do in the offseason. We get hyped up about, wide receiver 5, wide receiver 6. It felt like Justin Ross hype all over again. I was wrong. Tyquan Thornton, you could argue, might be the most important wide receiver on the roster right now. You don't see Hollywood Brown going deep, despite the fact he's supposed to be a speedster. You don't see Juju Smith-Schuster, who you called Wash, going deep. Like, their only vertical threat right now, and part of that is because of injury and suspension, their only vertical threat is Tyquan Thornton, and he has been a really good find. That's a guy who was a cast-off in New England, a second-round pick that looked like a bust, and now he is, I don't want to say he's been great, but he's been really productive for a team that needs productivity at wide receiver. So I kind of felt like, let's pump the brakes. Let's let offseason hype be offseason hype. 2 weeks into the season, he has been a productive NFL wide receiver for this team, which they don't seem to have a lot of those on the roster. So credit to Veach, credit to Mahomes, credit to Nagy, credit whoever you want to give credit to, Andy Reid, whoever. They have gotten the most out of Tyquan Thornton, and there's clearly still juice left in that body.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you're looking at Tyquan Thornton, I mean, he's not that far off from getting his career high in receiving yards. He's not that far off. I mean, he's won 2 games. I mean, Tyquan Thornton already in 2 games has more yards than he's had receiving the last 2 years. He had 91 receiving yards his second year in the league. He had 47 receiving yards last year for New England. He already has 4 catches for 100 yards. He has been their big play receiver so far. It's not like he's made a bad read. It's not like he's had a couple of drops. He hasn't really been that kind of player. They've used him for the big play down the field, and they just haven't been able to connect on those plays. So if you want to look for what has been a positive, what has been a good sign for the Chiefs offense, I want to see what Tyquan Thornton looks like in this offense when he is maybe used for that kind of secondary role. When you get back Rashee Rice, when you get back Xavier Worthy, I think Tyquan Thornton has kind of proven, especially at his age, 25 years old, former second-round pick, he can play. Let's put him in the slot. Let's have him be a good third down back. Can he be a guy that can take advantage of some of the attention that's going to be shown over the top for Xavier Worthy, some of the attention that's going to be shown for Rashee Rice? Can he develop into that player? We were talking about Khalil Shakir for the Buffalo Bills last week. Could Tyquan Thornton just end up being just a really solid number 3 option, a guy that could give you 650, 700 yards, and be a guy that you ended up really stealing? This was the guy that everybody in the NFL could have got. He was a cast-off from the New England Patriots. You got him for a nothing deal, and he's been, again, in my opinion, I think he's been the best receiver that they've had so far on the team. Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll talk about the ever-changing AFC West. That's coming up. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison, a show that prides itself on getting it right.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5, The Fan. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Crash near Olathe. 2 cars involved. 35 southbound just before 169 highway. The right lane is blocked. Stall northbound 35 just past 119th in the right lane. So both sides of 35 heavy from Olathe all the way up into Overland Park. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, Electric Traffic Center on Val 96.5 The Fan.
Ring the bell. We've done it again. Golden Oak Lending has lowered rates to 4.875 fixed. Lower your monthly payment, get cash out, pay off credit cards, and best of all, make no mortgage payments for 2 months. Lock in this incredible 4.875 rate and get your cash in as little as 14 days. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing, cured my blues.
5.81 APR, FHA, 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
You could be on the 50 at GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Enter to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA is the proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Here we go. Count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
This is incredible.
Watch your local NFL game live all season long.
And he's in for a touchdown.
Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today.
Hi, I'm Becca, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. As an in-house designer, I can't wait for you to see our incredible selection of stylish and stackable rings. If you're shopping for your wedding bands, we have high-quality designs for every style and budget, from romantic to modern. If you're looking to add to a stack, your options are endless. Discover styles with clusters of gemstones, sleek all-metal designs, updated cigar bands, and signet rings perfect for an engraving. Because a friend knows you like options. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
What's up, guys? It's Drew. Confidence is key. You hear that all the time when it comes to everything in your life. The players that we watch and all the winning that we see comes from players who are confident and are able to deliver when it matters most. What if you could be more confident where it counts? I'm talking about Blue Chew. They provide access to chewable tablets that help you feel and perform at your best. Stronger, harder, longer lasting, like someone gave your downstairs a pep talk and a gym membership. Because showing up matters during life's most exciting moments. Day nights just got longer and better for everyone. Be ready when she is. Turn oh no into oh yes with Blue Chew. This isn't just about performance. Nothing makes you more of a legend than a little Blue Chew. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. There's an offer for you there. You get your first month free when you use our promo code KFNZ at checkout. Just cover $5 in shipping. That's it. Head to BlueChew.com for details and safety info. Then you're ready to chew it and do it.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Chiefs. Everyone develops cataracts naturally as they get older. When your vision is affected by cataracts, you should see my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein at Silverstein Eye Centers. Dr. Silverstein is a world-renowned cataract surgeon who performs life-changing laser-assisted cataract surgery with premium lens implants to correct your vision up close and far away. Trust my eye doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein, Silverstein Eye Centers, 816-358-3600 to schedule an appointment.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Announcing Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event. Up to 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models for 72 months. And we have the largest selection of Subaru certified vehicles in Kansas City, starting as low as 1.9% for 72 months.
0% event and a lifetime warranty. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
Based on January 2025 through June 2025 Kansas City inventory listings.
Hi, I'm Sam Silvio with M. Shamus Brazilian Grill in the village of Burlington Creek. Holidays will be here before you know it, and M. Shamus is ready to get a jingle from you. From our all-you-can-eat hot and cold gourmet salad bar to our 12 cuts of beef, lamb, pork, or chicken. Go to mshamus.com to order our famous Brazilian glazed holiday hams in advance or set a holiday party date for a table of 1 to a party of 100. Go to mshamus.com and discover the joy of dining.
Listen to the Chiefs and Giants on Sunday night with pregame starting at 4. Kickoff at 7:20 with Mitch, Danon, and Kling. Right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. KFNZ FM and AM HD1 and HD2 Kansas City in Odyssey Sports Station.
Congratulations on getting through your 9 to 5. Thank you so much for listening. It is The Drive. You are listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. All right, we don't have a whole lot of time. This is actually the last batch of shows that are going to be preempted by the Kansas City Royals. So we got to get through this week. Next week, when the Ravens come to town, the Royals will be behind us, and we will have our full 20 hours to break down the 3:25 game between the Chiefs and the Ravens. So let's get right to it. I know that you guys are going to call me Chargers dot for this opinion, or Broncos dot, or Raiders dot, or Kiss Cam dot, or whatever it is. You know what? I am rubber and you are glue. Whatever you say bounces off to me and sticks to you. I'm not going to let you guys bring me down with your words. I'm here just to give you my commentary on watching the National Football League. And every time I talk about the rest of the division, you guys are so mean to me. Everything that they told us about the AFC West so far has been true. And I'm not even talking about from the Chiefs being down perspective. I'm talking about we were told that this was going to be a hyper-competitive division. We were told that this was going to be the best division that Patrick Mahomes was involved in since becoming the starter for the Kansas City Chiefs. You had seen improvement to all of these teams at coach. You have seen improvement to all of these teams at quarterback. The rosters are better. The talent is better. We were told how tough the AFC West is going to be. I think we can say through the first 2 games of the season, that is true. The Chargers are a good football team. This summer, one of the questions that I had was, who was going to be that other team to emerge in the AFC? Kansas City, Baltimore, and Buffalo. Everybody liked those teams coming into the season. We all agreed. But usually how the NFL works is there's another team that pops up out of nowhere and puts yourself in that conversation. In the NFC, we were trying to figure out, all right, we like Philadelphia. Well, who else do we like? The Packers now look like they're the second best team in the NFC. Maybe they're the best team. They certainly have played the part so far through the first 2 weeks of the season. The Chargers look to be answering the question of, well, if it's not Kansas City, Baltimore, or Buffalo, who do you think could potentially crash the party? It looks like it could be the Chargers. The Chargers are getting as good a quarterback play as anybody in the league right now. I'm not saying they have the best quarterback, but based on how they are currently playing, Herbert's playing pretty good. You kind of got to tip your cap a little bit. You know they're well coached. They got good weapons on the outside. They got a good defense. That's a good football team. Now, let's see what happens with Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack might be out for an extended period of time. He's their best pass rusher. He's still playing at a really, really high level. That is obviously going to be a very big loss for them. I'm only bringing that up because this is going to be one of the bigger challenges that Kansas City has had since Patrick Mahomes has taken over. They got to deal with their own injuries, whether it's to Xavier Worthy, whether it's to not having Rashee Rice. So they have their own issues as a team. And you also got to deal with, they don't have many gimmies on their schedule. You don't have a gimme in your division. And if you look at their schedule, there's not a lot of games where you don't have to question it with this team. Now, they're going to win a lot of their games this season, but there are certain games in which you could just gobble up. You got the Browns at home, gobble that up. If they have the Dolphins this season, the Titans, they got them later in the year. You guys know the teams in the league that you think, that team's not good. The Chiefs just don't have many of those games on their schedule this year, so that's just going to make things tough. In addition to, they need to get their own roster together, they need to get their own health together, and they need to get going. So this is not me telling you that I'm picking the Chargers to win the division. I'm not moving off my preseason prediction that the Chiefs are going to win the division and the Chargers will be a wild card team. I'm still holding on to that. I'm just simply pointing out, the Chargers team that's currently playing, this is the best that any team in Patrick Mahomes' division has played. Now, it's 2 weeks. You don't crown teams in September. You don't win championships for how you perform in September. Nothing is accomplished in September. But just something to note as we are watching this division, that this Chargers team has played well. They've been very good. The Broncos, I think, are a good team. I still don't understand how the Broncos lost that game on Sunday. I mean, it was right there for them on a silver platter, and then they just basically handed it to the Indianapolis Colts. I think the Raiders are improved from what they've been in years past. This is a tough, competitive division. I'm also trying to alert you guys for this reason. If you're somebody who likes to gamble on sporting events and what could potentially happen in sporting events, there has never been a better time to buy low on the Chiefs than right now. Not a single period since Patrick Mahomes has been the starting quarterback of the team have you been able to buy the Chiefs so low. They're not the favorite currently in their own division. For those of you that gamble, they are plus 250 on wherever you get your app. They are plus 250 in their division. It's been 2 weeks. You and I both know this thing can turn in an instant. Chargers play the Broncos coming up this week. That could be a massive advantage for the Chargers. If they can win all 3 games against all 3 division teams, you got to tip your cap to that if you're the Chargers. But you always got to leave it in the back of your mind that the Chargers could do some Charger things. I've seen them do it my entire life. You've seen them do it your entire life. Don't ever underestimate the Chargers' ability to be the Chargers. But they look good so far. So you're looking at that, you're looking at the schedule, you're looking at all of these different things. I'm telling you right now, if you have just the inkling of, and I'm not worried about that, Chiefs are going to turn things around. You guys are overreacting. The media is overreacting. They're counting out the Chiefs. And I do think there is a little bit of a sentiment of you have never kind of been able to jump on the Chiefs from a national perspective. They just win all the time. They win all the time. Even when the Chiefs were winning games, we were arguing if they won them by enough for margin of victory, those kind of things. We were talking about a team that, for a while there, you just didn't beat the Chiefs. They won every close game. They were in every big game. They won a majority of their big games. There really hasn't been I think, a lot of reasons to kind of criticize the Chiefs over the last 4 or 5 years. Oh, trust me, people are taking their chances, and I think a lot of people are simply echoing the sentiment that people have around the National Football League. Here's Adam Schefter.
I think other teams look at them and think for the first time in a while, they're beatable. This is the first time in a while that Patrick Mahomes, he's never lost 3 straight games in the NFL. This is the first time it's ever happened. So that air of invincibility, that aura that's been around them, it's dented.
No, absolutely it's dented, and it was dented last year. And quite honestly, it wasn't because Patrick Mahomes, got them through all those games 15-2. It was their defense. Their defense, by the way, yesterday played about as good as you can play.
Yes.
Like they were outstanding in that game. So if anything, that defense is going to have to carry the show again, just like it did last year.
So that was some of the conversation on Get Up. I made this analogy earlier to Rob. I've seen every one of these MUKU basketball games since they've brought the rivalry back. I've been at basically all of them. I didn't go to that first year when Conzo Martin was there because I knew they were going to get just absolutely just drug across the parking lot. It was going to be a waste of everybody's time for us to watch that game.
I disagree. I liked that game.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan. Wasn't a huge fan of that one. But 2 years ago when I was at the game, it was very, very obvious. Oh, Kansas is much better than Missouri. This past time they played each other, I told Rob pretty early on, man, Missouri can beat them. Kansas isn't light years ahead of them. And you could just see that the confidence started building over the game. I kind of think teams feel that way about the Chiefs right now. I think teams feel like right now there has never been a better time to get the Chiefs. They've never been more vulnerable. Their offense can't run away from you. Their defense doesn't get pressure with their front four. They've never appeared to be more vulnerable than they are right now. I think there's a way to stave off a lot of this conversation. It starts with them beating the Giants on Sunday. I just mentioned there's not a lot of gimmies on this. The Chiefs can be perfectly fine at the end of this month. If you go on the road and win Sunday Night Football, I don't care how you do it. If you then come back home and beat the Ravens, and the Ravens are now a team that both lost to Buffalo and Kansas City, you can just kind of breathe a little bit. Baltimore's not going to be the 1 seed. I mean, you probably won't be the 1 seed, but you're still going to be you're still going to be in it. You got Rashee Rice coming back in a couple of weeks. It is possible that the Chiefs, even though they've dug themselves in a little bit of a hole, you can very easily get yourself out of it in 2 weeks by just simply taking care of your own business. That starts on Sunday against the New York Giants. I said it earlier, I don't care how they win. I don't care what the score is. I don't care the margin of victory. I don't care if they run the ball for 150 yards. I don't care if Patrick Mahomes has to get every single rushing yard for them. You have to figure out a way to win that game. It's the Giants' home opener. Their quarterback played really well last week. They got a defensive line that at least has a lot of names on their team. That's a team that you're going on the road. I mean, the Chiefs just haven't played a style of football that makes me think that anything is a gimme. It is going to be a dogfight. It's going to be a rock fight. I mean, that's how games were last year when they won 15 games. They were always close. They were always competitive in the fourth quarter. So I'm not going for style points here. This isn't the BCS. This is a margin of victory. This is simply win by any means necessary. That's the only thing I care about on Sunday when discussing the Kansas City Chiefs. I want to keep the Chiefs theme going here in the hits. Again, we don't have a whole lot of time. Now, I'm saying this, and I want to put an asterisk by this take. I don't know this next individual. If he wants to call into the show, we're happy to have him tomorrow on the show. I'm sure that he is a great guy. But I am effectively requesting, hey, we got to get the old third down guy back. All right, we got to get him back. Now, I don't know Mr. Dale Carter. It seems to me, at least from what I read, now I don't know. I can only tell you secondhand information. I don't know. But I was told that the Chiefs, he wanted to keep doing the third down call. The Chiefs didn't want him to do the third down call anymore. They tried to call in a third down back. And he was like, wait, those are my carries. I'm not giving them to somebody else. They said, well, it don't matter what you think. We're taking those carries away from you. So he said, well, I quit. That's what I heard. Now, I don't know if it's true. I'm just simply reporting what the rumors are. I'm requesting him to officially come back. They're doing a lot of changes over there at Arrowhead, and I don't know if I like these changes.
From the 19-yard line, it's
I don't like that call. Again, I don't know this man. I don't know this man's name. I'm sure he's great. I really am. And I'm sure there's a lot of other things they can have you do. Make the announcements, tell us who the Chiefs play next week, tell everybody to drive home safely. Maybe you want to introduce the starting lineups. I'm sure there's a lot of things that they can have you doing. And I'm sure you're great at it. The third down call, that's just not the way I hear it in my head. That's not what I want. I like the old third down call. I like the old recipe that we had. We didn't ask for this. We didn't ask for you to switch up the third down call. It's got to sound more dramatic than that. Hearing that third down, it make you want to, it's third down. You get up. You're like, all right, hey, I got to help this team. I got to do my part to help them get off the field. That's not what that third down, that's not what that call inspires me to do. We're changing too many recipes over at Arrowhead. We adding a corporate sponsor to it. They're about to move to Kansas. They got rid of the song after they score a touchdown. They get rid of the third down call. There's too many changes. Let's go back to the old school. Let's go back to the way that we used to do it. Let's bring back the old guy, Dale Carter. Let's bring him back. Maybe he'll come back. I don't know. I don't know how mad he is at the team, but we need to call him back, and we need to get the old school band back together because we're not doing it right.
I'm connecting dots here. I don't know anything about the PA announcer or the plan or the Chiefs or nothing about it. What I do know is, based on Dale Carter's statement last week about, why he's no longer with the team, he said there was a red line and it involved his third down call. Now, hearing the new third down call, I think we can connect the dots and think, I think the Chiefs want the down and distance at the game because this third down call, while not as good, weirdly just jams in the yardage. Like the old guy, whether it was 3rd and inches or 3rd and 27, it's third down.
Why do they care so much about the down and distance?
11.
If it's third down, it's important because usually if you get a stop, it forces a punt, you can get the ball back. You need all that information? 3rd and 17. No, just go back to how it was. It was good. It was perfect. No one was unhappy with the third down call. Let's go back to the old one. That's all I'm saying. We're changing way too many recipes. I don't want to spend too much more time on it, but let's go back. All right, I got a couple of stats I want to share with you guys. I want to give you guys currently, as we have wrapped up week 2, I want to give you the rushing totals for quarterbacks right now in the National Football League. Tied for 5th is Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams. They both have 85 yards respectively. Josh Allen, he has 89 rushing yards so far this season. Justin Fields has 97 rushing yards this season. Number 1, the quarterback who currently has the most rushing yards of any quarterback in the National Football League is Patrick Mahomes with 123. They don't call run plays for him. These are not design runs. They call design runs for Lamar Jackson. They call design runs for Josh Allen. They don't call design runs for Patrick Mahomes. In fact, they actively try to avoid him running the football. Now, I think they told him, hey, if you feel comfortable about it, then unleash. And I think he's done that this year. I think Patrick has felt a necessity to do this, A, because the Chiefs just don't run the football aside from his scrambles. And I don't know if there's a lot of separation down the field and guys getting open. So you don't really have any choice other than see what you can make happen. And he has done that so far. There's not another quarterback in the league that has run for over 100 yards but Mahomes. That is a flaw in their offense. In fact, I think it is the biggest flaw in their offense. That's not how the Chiefs' offense is designed to work. I mean, it can work that way, but that is not the plan. And the Chiefs offensively, they usually get into trouble when the plan is hero ball from Patrick Mahomes. When you think of the times that you have been most frustrated with the offense, the points in which the offense has stalled the most, it has usually been hero ball from 15. It has been, I got to do everything. I got to run around in the backfield and try to see if somebody can be open and try to make some magic. I got to try to scramble. I got to try to run the football. That's usually what gets the Chiefs offense into trouble. So if you want to see a change in the offense, a turnaround in the offense, I will continue to say this. It will start with them running the football. This is the only point I got about individual running backs today, and I promise you we'll get to Chris Jones because I got a stat. If Elijah Mitchell can't be active on this team, what is his role? I mean, we're all watching the same running back room, and you brought him in free agency. He is healthy to my understanding, and he's getting healthy DMPs. People are saying he's your emergency back in case of depth. You can't be the emergency back for an individual game if you're on the inactive list. You don't play. So either one or two things I think needs to happen. Either you need to use Elijah Mitchell and see if there's any juice left, or you need to find a replacement for him. You need to find a replacement, because if you can't contribute in this running in the entire National Football League, if you can't contribute on this running back room, it's fair to think that you can't contribute to any running back room. You should be able to find some touches, some targets, some usage, something in this running back room. They need anybody. Anybody. I'll take Boobie Miles, whoever you think can run the football, Chris Comer, go get him. That's what they need in this offense. Let me give you a stat for Chris Jones before we get out of here, Rob. I know we're almost up against it. In his last 17 regular season games, Chris Jones has 5 sacks. I only looked that up because we had the numbers yesterday. The Chiefs have had 14 all-out blitzes so far. 14. They lead the league in that category. I'm talking no safety help. We're sending the dogs. They've done that 14 times. They blitzed Jalen Hurts in some capacity on 16 of his 24 dropbacks in week 2. They sent a lot of pressure at Jalen Hurts. Now, some of that is, hey, we're trying to speed him up. We're trying to disrupt timing. And for the most part, it worked. But I think we see pretty routinely live by the blitz, die by the blitz. And a couple of the times, they kind of got burned by sending a lot of pressure at Jalen Hurts and sending a lot of pressure on that Philadelphia Eagles defense. And I think we've also seen pretty routinely the best defenses can get pressure with their front four. When your front four can dominate the line of scrimmage and you can drop back 7, 8 into coverage, it transforms what you can do as a defense. The Chiefs, as of right now, they don't feel like they can do that consistently. You can't feel that way based off the numbers. Some of that is tied into the fact of the Chiefs have spent a lot of resources into getting after the other team's quarterback. They have not so far this season. Chris Jones has 1 quarterback hit through the first 2 games of the season. George Karlaftis, you just gave him, you dropped off a heavy bag at his house. Hasn't really given you a whole lot. If the argument is, well, Chris Jones is getting double teamed and that's what's slowing down the numbers, well, then somebody's getting one-on-one coverage and they're not making the most of it. So whether you think that's Charles Omenihu or whether you think that's George Karlaftis, somebody ain't getting home if you think that Chris Jones is getting double teamed. We have seen the Chris Jones numbers over the last 2 seasons. He got 15.5 sacks, then he got 10.5 sacks. Last year, Chris Jones got 5 sacks. One of the ways that this defense can really get back going, really get back elite, and can really help out an inexperienced secondary group is just you got to have your dogs up front play like dogs. You need Chris Jones to be disruptive and to disrupt timing. You need that same thing from George Karlaftis. That is something that stood out to me when you look at the numbers over the last 17 games for Chris Jones. He just has 5 sacks in those last 17 games.
I was a firm proponent of sign Chris Jones to the extension. I remember we argued about it all that offseason. Sign him, sign him, sign him. I don't think the contract is bad, but I think since he has put pen to paper, he has not lived up to it. And I think he has the talent. I think he has the ability. I think everything is there for him to unlock and get back to it. But he has to start doing it. Or at the very least, to your point, if you're going to get double teamed every play, and let's just say he is, make George Karlaftis look great. Make Charles Omenihu look great. Make Omar Norman-Knott or Jerry Tillery look great. Maybe his double teams got Tershawn Wharton paid last year. I don't know. But he can't get that kind of money to not sniff the quarterback, not once.
So I just want to give you guys those stats. We'll have more stats tomorrow. This is our last batch of shows that are going to be preempted by the Royals. Looking forward to having our full 20 hours back next week as we get you ready for Chiefs and Ravens next week. All right, I had a lot of fun. We'll be back tomorrow at the same time on the same channel. Take care of yourself. It's The Drive on 96.5 The Fan.
The Drive with CDOT. Tune in as Nate Taylor of ESPN joins the show in studio every Friday at 4 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. The Drive, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember,